Live.
We're alive.
Live.
Let's go.
It's alive.
More than could be said for
Unlike
somebody.
the anime community, which is fucking dead. Am I right, guys?
it's so over, bros.
Good evening, everyone. We're all having a nice Sunday evening.
It's gonna get cold soon.
Oh yeah,
By soon, I mean tomorrow.
like snow here in DC. So
Damn.
in order to prepare, I bought a rice cooker today.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, so I've been eating rice
Just in time.
just in time, just in case like the shit goes down, I'm without power for like a week. Dude, I've got a rice cooker.
You're gonna cook rice without power.
Are you fucking proud of that, dude?
Oh boy, a Weeb Crew live stream. Getting nostalgia for the Weeb Crew now that it's 3.5 years old. Don't say that.
Oh my god.
Don't say that. Stop.
Not 3.5.
It's Monday morning at work. Wait, what do you mean? Wait.
When was the first episode we uploaded? That was like
Oh god, that was
October
it was like,
2021.
Yeah, October 2021, I believe.
Well, it hadn't been half a year yet.
No, it's been 3 months, so 3 years and a quarter.
3 years and 3 months. Where does the time go? Oh damn.
I should probably like open up the video and open up a browser window for the stream and stuff. Hold on.
Oh my god, we're washed.
So fucking over.
So unprofessional, am I right, guys?
Well, I guess while you pull up the video in the window, this probably is going to be a podcast, so we should run an intro.
Yeah, right. Well, fucking do it.
Oh, you just
Okay.
the way you said that, I was
I
thought you were gonna do it.
Mumi, why did
Hello,
you
guys.
post?
Welcome to the Weeb Crew. Today we're going to be talking about Gig Up and
talking
him
about-
being crazy.
We're gonna be talking about
We're not-
Giga, and we're gonna be talking
we're
about
not
some
talking
summer
about him.
takes you give here. We're gonna be talking about him on this stream and this podcast. You know what I'm saying, man? Mumi, why,
Oh my god.
why am I scrolling through the YouTube share channel in our Discord to find the video, and I just see you're posting like, what is this, Vor?
Oh, the Vorium? Yeah.
Yeah, why? Why would
I don't
you?
He's into that, didn't you know?
You learn
He's been
something
telling
new
me
every
all
day.
about it for like a week now.
He's literally
I'm
never
surprised he
brought
didn't
this
know
up.
Can't
about it
stop
before.
boring. So I was talking about the fucking drama queen manga or something. I posted
Oh.
that Mimi Yori video.
Honestly,
And,
that's kind of what Drama Queen. We haven't talked about Drama Queen at all, but that's honestly what that Drama Queen manga needs is like she eats an
More
alien
gore.
and she's just walking around like a fat gut the entire time, and then all the people who are like, man, this manga's so based and racist are gonna be like, oh, it's fetish material.
She just has a big belly.
Never mind.
You get my full tummy fetish.
Oh god. I mean that would make sense in the context of the story. Oh god, and like she gets like indigestion and stuff. She gets like scat fetish stuff as well. That's
Yeah,
that's
stuff
honestly
we're all
what
into.
Drama Queen needs instead of becoming like Diet Chainsaw Man.
I thought it was more like diet Dorohedoro.
Isn't Dorohedoro like already Diet Chainsaw Man?
I mean, you can't call it diet Chainsaw Man if it came first.
This is true. If anything, Chainsaw Man is Diet Dorohedoro.
Say
Does
that
that
like
matter?
5 times fast.
Diet Dorohedoro.
Oh my God, you can't say that. That's racist.
We're gonna be talking about Giga. Let me see here. Let me put this up on stream. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'm the Scat Man.
Yeah, movie post 4 the YouTube share channel. I'm happy I don't know this context. I forget how to stream. I think this is the window. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. There we go. And then let me. Now, if I do that, we can now see the YouTube video, and then I think I need to do something that will let us hear the YouTube video.
Right, that I'm hype about. Surely the Chainsaw Man movie?
Nope.
Okay.
I just need to play it. Okay, cool. So why are we here, Moomy? What are we talking about today? This whole operation was your idea.
Do we even do it? Hello, welcome to the Weeb Crew podcast.
No, we already did an
Moomy.
intro, but yeah, right.
No, you didn't. What kind of fucking intro was? I didn't even understand what was happening.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
You were
I'll
just
save it
fucking
in editing.
insulting each other.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Weeb Crew.
Oh my
And
god.
today we're going to
We
be
got
talking
horror
about the Gigok video.
Yeah, so someone posted this VOD clip of Giga.
It was Big Bone.
and
Everyone blame Big Bone.
It's all their fault.
It's all their fault.
I don't want to pick on Giga too much. We will use him as an example, because it's just like a tangible thing. It is just like a interesting subject matter to broach on.
What you want to do is you want to make an example out of him, is what you're saying.
We gotta make an example.
Listen.
out of
It's
Easy,
nothing
low-hanging
personal. It's
fruit,
nothing
you know?
personal. We do have to execute Gigak on stream. Alhamdulillah.
But yeah, this is not like we're not gonna respond to this like this is a series, because it's not a video he like wrote and edited. This is literally just him just like
This is like a
shooting from the hip
off the
on
cuff
stream.
thing. Yeah, he
Yeah.
he shot his shot on stream, and as we often do, I misshoot my shots. If I can even shoot my shot at all, honestly. Let me tell you, chronic erectile
That's a lot of
dysfunction is one of the
performance
worst
anxiety,
things
alright?
plaguing men nowadays. All right, we need to have a serious discussion about that, but that'll be a topic for another stream.
But yeah, he talks in this little stream clip someone took. I think that the context, just using my big brain 400 IQ context clues, it seems like they're talking about like stuff that's coming out this year or this upcoming season.
Mm-hmm. What gave
And,
that away? Was it in all the big text on screen right now that says Chainsaw Man movie, followed by Eminence movie and Mufasa?
That
28
those
years
were some
later.
of it. Those were
Okay.
some of it.
Mufasa is one of my favorite anime guys.
But yeah, he's like talking about that, and then they start talking about like, oh, in 2 years, even since the Chainsaw Man movie anime originally aired, things have changed so much.
Except for
basically-
war. War, in fact, never changes.
War never changes.
changes.
Except when it does.
Not when it does. Except when we have like things like nuclear weapons and drone strikes. And
I mean, we're not sending
Details,
people in trenches anymore. We
semantics.
just drone strike people.
I think we
and-
should bring trench warfare back. Honestly, I guess it's kind of I guess they're not really trenches in Ukraine.
Are you
but-
nostalgic about that?
Nostalgic for trench warfare.
Nostalgia for World War One.
World War One. That should be a real phenomenon.
me watching All Quiet on the Western Front, being like, man, things used to be so much better back then.
I
Aren't
miss
they
when my
adding like
gloves would
AI generated
shrink.
users to like Facebook or something? Can we get like AI generated users on Facebook, just like mass, like being nostalgic for World War One, and then like generating enough buzz so that like news outlets start talking about it? Like, why are
and
people
this is like
nostalgic
domino
over
effects
World
into
War One?
starting another world war.
Yeah, I mean that's not where I was going with that, but that would be preferable.
Can you
We could use,
imagine?
less countries in this world.
Can you imagine the gooning that would take place over World War II shit? Man, I miss like if the Zoomer, like if you take all the culture of like today and like put it World War One shit, it's like, oh man, I miss when like they would do all the fucking mustard gas and like the gas warfare, and they shrunk
Oh,
gloves.
God, yeah,
and I
yeah,
would
the
use
mu-
those shrunken gloves.
Oh man, I miss the mustard gas. Choke me harder, daddy.
God, imagine the gooning bunkers.
Oh god.
Just like a pool of cum.
So yeah, is there like, I don't know, this video itself is only like, this clip itself is only like 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
We just want to like play it in full. I mean,
we don't even really need to play it.
not really.
There's there's only like a couple actual points in the video that you can like address directly.
Right, yeah.
But I feel like we would just be like picking on Gigguk.
Yeah, here we go.
Which-
Here we go. I can use the auto-generated captions in order to assist us in figuring out what part of the video is like the one we want to address.
But yeah, like it's basically the point of it is like this idea that like things are like he says like, oh, it's not that it's like it was better, guys, it was different, but like I just missed that, you know, the community was like all one whole one community.
And
And it's kind of like, dog, this when
yeah.
like that's
Like,
never a
Are we like,
thing.
yeah, is he talking? So wait, is he talking about when Chainsaw Man came out? Because I don't think.
No, he's talking about like when he got into when he first got into the anime community,
Right.
and I assume he's talking about like around like Death Note, because of like he's
Okay,
like
so around
talking
like
about Death Note.
2000, 2006, 2007, 2008, like mid to late 2000s.
Yeah, I mean we can play that part if you want. It's like halfway, roughly. We'll see. He's talking about like,
he's talking about like what would happen if like Death Note came out like nowadays.
See, the biggest change, I think, is the weekly discussions and the weekly leaks that happen and the immediate judgments you get from like manga leaks about like certain developments that happen in the manga. Makes me wonder, what would it be like if some of like our OG favorite anime had started airing now, and what the reaction would be on Twitter?
I mean,
stuff like that. Can you
like this shit was already a thing, right?
Right.
Like I remember specifically when I was into like Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah,
In the early
Dragon Ball
2000s.
for your friends or whatever. Because
So
you were
it's ironic because like he specifically is like, oh, I don't remember. There weren't Dragon Ball spoilers when I was in middle school because none of the people like liked Dragon Ball,
imagine?
and it's like, what? Like being into Dragon Ball in like the early 2000, like I'm talking like 2001 ish. I remember Dragon Ball hadn't even aired on TV, right? Like we hadn't got Dragon Ball.
right.
They had just started like the Funimation Dragon Ball Z dub run, and it was like in the Cell saga or Android saga, I think.
Mhm.
And you could get magazines like they had a whole like fan magazine like Dragon Ball Z Beckett. I don't know if anyone knows what that is.
No, I think everyone here is younger than you.
Yeah.
You fucking
showing
old
your age,
man.
Moomy.
They had these fucking magazines, and like
I think
you
you're
would,
even
like,
older than Giga.
No, Giga's 2 years older than me,
Oh, okay.
which makes it even funnier because it's like, how do I know this and you don't? Oh, you just like weren't involved in the community, I guess. Like, but
Mhm.
it's just fucking like, because like you'd buy these magazines and then it's like, oh look, here's Super Baby from Dragon Ball GT, and you're just like, what? Dragon Ball GT? What?
What is that? Isn't GT a car?
2001 is when I think the OG Dragon Ball started playing in English. It like it starts like later in 2001. I think in like halfway through the year, but like Dragon like this shit was like barely fucking like it is just they just started playing Dragon Ball
Yeah.
because of the popularity of Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z was only like halfway. I hadn't even gone to the Boo saga yet. I think Boo is like in 2002 is when it started running like the Boo saga shit. You could get on like VHS in like 2001, but like if you're watching it on TV, plus like VHS is also like just sporadic. Like they didn't. I think with the Boo saga stuff, they started releasing it all pretty consistently. But I remember with like the Cell and Android saga. Like it was just like I think I had like 3 or 4 VHSs and it like just skipped like all over the fucking place. But yeah, like you would get these fucking like spoilers for just like magazines. Like people would be talking about like, oh look, Pan, Goku's granddaughter, is a playable character in Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, the video game for PlayStation 1. And you're like, the fuck? Who are these people?
I guess it's a different kind of culture though with that, because like here he's like talking about like people posting like leaks on Twitter, talking about it like online. And at least, you know, back in the day, when you had like spoilers or leaks or something like that, it would be on a forum instead of Twitter, and the thread would always be like marked like spoilers or whatever the hell. Whereas like now with like Twitter, you can just get flashbanged with that shit because it just, you know, it's just on your feed unprompted.
I don't like that was a problem with from what I remember, that was a problem with like Death Note, where people would just post like memes that would just be like L dies. Like the fucking like the ladies' room thing where the A fell off and it just says L dies. And they're like,
you had
oh,
like,
spoilers.
that is like the same thing that happened with like Harry Potter leaks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's like the same time period.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's like around the same. Like I remember like there was a big culture like about, you know, manga people that were into the manga that would like kind of spoil shit or really rip into something. Because I remember even with like Full Metal Alchemist 03, people were shitting on like the greed stuff because they're like, oh, why isn't greed crucified? Why is this just like a rock? They censored it. It's like, what? Okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
Basically, manga readers have always been the problem.
They've always been the problem.
People need to stop reading manga. That's what I've been saying for years. That's why I don't read manga. I buy manga, I don't read it.
Like, and even like Naruto shit was like spoiler. Like I remember getting spoiled on.
Oh, I'd imagine, yeah.
I started reading Naruto with monthly Shonen Jump, so that had been like 2003, and that was up to like the Zabuza saga or the Zabuza arc. I mean, or Land of Waves, I guess. And people were already like spoiling me on like, oh, the Shunin exams, Jiraiya, he gets taught like so. I'm like, what the?
Jiraiya dies, and it's like I don't even know who that is.
People were posting like gifs of like the openings with like I remember the Asian Kung Fu Generation opening where it's like the characters spinning or whatever. People were posting that gif. I'm just like, who are these people? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this has been a thing forever.
Arguably, in that sense, it's less of a thing now because now you have like English translations that are coming out like the exact same day, basically.
Yeah.
So there's less of a thing when it comes to like, I think you will get like scans like a couple hours before like an English release, and then that's usually it. I
feel like I feel like people like were able to watch Attack on Titan without getting spoiled. I don't know how like involved you would be in like the community discourse to do that.
Maybe. Well, I mean, Attack on Titan came out over such a long period of time, and I don't disagree that like things are definitely different now. Like you look at like where the anime community was at like when Attack on Titan started, and then where it was at when it ended, and there is like a change that happened, especially when it comes to like leaking culture, things like that.
Is there?
I feel like there has, yeah.
Well, Giga mentions in this video that like not a lot has changed over the years, but there are just more anime fans now.
Right.
So like there is more good, but the bad is also more noticeable because, you know, new fans are not always going to get the culture and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
you
I feel like
have a lot of people sort of poisoning the well is a mean way of putting it, but I guess for the sake of argument, like, yeah.
Yeah, there's also going to be a difference between people who read the source, like who read the manga, and people who watch the anime. I forget who I saw someone in like our Discord, or maybe it was a different Discord. They were like talking with like their coworkers or some people, and they were like, "Why would you read the manga? You're just spoiling yourself." Like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Yeah, I read the manga and spoiled myself on what happens next. Like, so you just
kind of spitting though.
Yeah, you spoil yourself on the story by experiencing it as it was intended.
I don't know. I feel like because like there were like, do you mean like how ubiquitous it is, where you can be watching like Attack on Titan very passively on Netflix and not be involved in the community and just have somebody like have some tweet pop off?
Yeah,
and it just spoils it for you or something. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, you see that with like Game of Thrones is really like that, honestly. Everyone talking about the big Game of Thrones spoil. I've never read or seen Game of Thrones, but I still had to like hear that shit because of how fucking ubiquitous it was and how unavoidable things like that can be. So to a certain extent, it is just kind of like, because it is so much more popular now, like spoilers are always there, especially if you want to go look for them. But it's like,
and there has always been people that are just like assholes.
Yeah,
and like will spoil it.
It's a little bit harder now to enjoy anime in the comfort of your own home when the town square of the internet, Twitter, is a fucking cesspool.
Yeah, I don't like Twitter.
No, is there anyone who have you ever met someone who was like, I fucking love Twitter, dude. It's one of the best websites ever. It's so good, man. I use Twitter every day and I love it.
No, but I feel like people are like tsunderes about Twitter. Like there are people that don't like Twitter and don't really use it. And then there are people that are like, they don't want to admit they like Twitter because everyone else doesn't like Twitter, but they're on there like every waking moment of their life. And you're like, do you really not like Twitter?
I think what it is just for the art. Like trying to find communities, and like because every social media basically gives you more of the kind of stuff you interact with. If you interact with a lot of bullshit on Twitter, you're going to get a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff that's, unavoidable regarding like world news and whatever. But generally speaking, if you find yourself annoyed with the Chainsaw Man community, there's probably a reason for that. If you keep getting like weird conservatives like in your feed, there's probably a reason for that, because you're just constantly fighting over them.
I just don't really care for the Twitter format.
Yeah. Also, with social media, spoilers will just show up on your timeline, whereas with forums or image boards, you kind of have to go looking. Exactly, yeah. Like, if there are manga spoilers on like A or whatever the hell, just don't click that thread. Just don't go in there, and suddenly the problem goes away.
It didn't necessarily, like, people will like spoil something to just be like, hey, this is fucking stupid, am I right? And then like they post it as like the main image on like their thread,
right?
And so like even if you're just looking on the fucking catalog or something, you're like see it and you're like, oh
yeah.
And on the flip side, you can also like tag things as spoilers on Twitter, or you can at least like hide the image or say like spoilers
I
ahead.
I've legitimately never seen anyone fucking do that.
I've seen some.
The only time I've seen things spoilered on Twitter is like it's gore. That's it.
But I don't know, like I feel like the kind of largest point that's like funniest to kind of tackle about like this idea of like, oh, the anime community used to be like united and whole.
Oh yeah.
It's
well,
like what?
Yeah, I don't. In some ways, like anime and manga, since it's blown up, especially in like the past 5 years now. Because guess what, guys? We're now halfway through this decade.
Hooray! We did it.
Oh God! What the fuck? like anime has very obviously become a lot more popular, and I feel with that you do have like sub communities that have kind of always been around have also definitely grown as well. So you do have, you know, I think, you know, there is like a just overall larger community for like shoujo manga, yuri, mecha, whatever the fuck, really, all those different niches that have, you know,
Everything is
there have
bigger
always
because
been
more
mecha
people
fans.
are
There
in
have
the
always
community.
been, you know, Magical Girl fans. There have always been fans who were, you know, just into like really like a lot of older stuff. But as a result of just anime as a whole blowing up, I think those fandoms have also like grown as well as a result. Just, you know, just simply by there being more anime fans.
Right. Yeah. I feel like the main thing that I feel that you're able to get that experience out of essentially is like in Gigak's position, it comes off like he wasn't actually really that involved in the community.
Well, it's an interesting question because it's like, I feel like nowadays it is easier to be an anime fan and then just have little to no interaction with the anime community, like any anime community, really. Like that is like something I think that's more common now than it was in the past, certainly.
I don't know. That's interesting. Because like back to a certain point, to consume anime, you're basically reliant on the anime community, and you have to be sociable.
Yeah.
In some capacity, like we were talking like the 90s, you have to basically go to an anime community or club or like a sci-fi club or something to even consume
you know,
anime.
if you're watching anime online circa 2010, there's a good chance you're watching anime in, you know, episodes that are broken up into 3 parts on YouTube, and then consequently, you know, you're then gonna get like, you know, like Giguk or Glass Reflection or any people making like anime content on YouTube is subsequently going to be recommended to you because you're using YouTube to just watch anime itself. Whereas, you know, Giguk is not on Netflix, Giguk is not on Crunchyroll. So now it's just like you can just, you know, watch whatever the hell on those platforms, and then that's not necessarily really leaking into your YouTube feed all that much.
I guess it depends on, because like when anime was getting bigger on like Toonami, you could just watch like Cowboy Bebop or Ghost in the Shell or Inuyasha.
You definitely tell there are a lot of people like that nowadays who it's like their only exposure to anime is what they watched on Toonami like 20 years ago.
Well, I feel like that's basically what Giguk is saying. Is he watched Death Note on Toonami and in like 2007, 2008, whenever it was that it aired, and was not aware of the community essentially. Because like by the time Death Note aired on Toonami, there would have been easily shit tons of spoilers floating around about it. Like even if people didn't read the manga, which I doubt, I'm sure there were people that would have like just been like, "Oh, this is different from the manga because the manga did dish." But even if like you avoided that, like at that point the anime had been out and like subbed for a long time. So like unless he's saying he watched the sub, but I feel like you just like if you just watch the dub and you're just watching shit on like Toonami or whatever, like you're not gonna get spoiled.
You're not gonna get spoiled because you're not interacting with the community at all at that point.
Right.
Which, you know, when I was like watching, you know, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood on Toonami as a wee lad, I certainly was not interacting with any anime community. I probably didn't really do that until I started watching like seasonals in 2013, and even then it was like a very like weird sort of thing where it's just like the comment section of whatever pirate site I was on, more so than like the My Anime List forums or not even Twitter at that point really now. So it's like, and I feel like that is just more common nowadays because for most people who watch anime, and this ties in what we talked about in the last stream, most people who watch anime, they're watching anime on Netflix, and then that's where it starts and ends for them, basically.
Yeah. Well, even before the internet, it was like most people watched anime on Toonami or Cartoon Network or whatever.
Right.
even fucking like Sci-Fi Channel was not that
but now it's like,
popular.
but now it's like way more people are then watching it on Netflix than ever were on Toonami. It's like, imagine
Yeah.
that, you know, instead of Toonami being like late at night, it's like primetime television on like CBS or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the level at least some stuff gets to, like a Cyberpunk or what are other popular anime that were not Pluto, certainly not Pluto. Pluto wasn't fucking popular at all.
Jujutsu Kaisen?
Jujutsu Kaisen ever on Netflix? It was certainly very popular.
maybe not.
But
On Netflix specifically, I don't know.
he also talks. So Giga also then talks about this idea, like he doesn't really get super into it, but like the sort of like political discourse that would happen if Death Note were to come out today. Which
Yeah.
I mean, that would certainly be like, you know, you look back again, like, you know, 4 years ago, certainly like 8 to 10 years ago, then you didn't really have this like culture war thing that's kind of like started to pollute like anime shit. And it's kind of just become more and more annoying over the past, I feel like, 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a. To be fair, that's not an anime specific thing. That's just been.
No, that's those types of people moving on from like video games or comics or whatever, and they need a new thing to grift off of.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like even back then, I mean, people might not have politicized it in the same way. But I feel like you could probably find an article that is talking about the politics of Death
Yeah,
Note
but would
or
it get
whatever.
as
like
much
socio-
traction?
Well, no, but it also is like there are less people, so
Yeah, that's
There are less
also it's
people to,
also like
spread
a
it to.
blog as opposed to like a Twitter thread, which I guess that's another thing is like we can talk about how there are more, you know, more developed niches nowadays as well, but the platforms, the websites that those different like sub communities are operating on, you know, back in the day it would have been like a separate forum or something like that, whereas nowadays it's basically just Twitter, and then in some instances there's like a Discord server. So in a certain sense, you could argue that, you know, maybe the anime community is a little bit more all close together now as well, to a certain extent, since we're all being herded like cattle onto the same goddamn fucking website.
but because he did say like, oh, it was more of a community back then. I did go because like my perception of it is much different from his, right?
Mhm.
Because I was already involved in like these communities
Yeah.
where I remember, you know, like having rules to like ban discussion of Naruto because they didn't want people.
Was Gagak ever really that like active on A back in the day? Do you know?
Well, not even just but like even like Something Awful was like very similar in its kind of like board culture, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Or forum culture, I should say.
Something Awful it was also just a lot more anti-anime, which is why 4chan even exists in the first place.
Yeah. But like that was a very widespread kind of thing.
Mhm.
You go back even further, and you get like the shit that we were kind of looking at, where it's like the fucking
Oh yeah, you want me to pull some of those up?
yeah, we'll pull some of these up.
Yeah, what was the one that you were looking at? Send that to me real quick.
Let's see.
A lot more
I'm on the
clicky.
right-
Yeah, I think you could say like clicky. There's definitely like a mutual culture when it comes to like anime discussion on Twitter, and I mean certainly you know there are like the niche internet micro celebrity types of people who just appear on your feed just by default. I don't even follow them and they just appear for some reason. One thing I had to say was that there were a handful of series that you could assume just about anyone who says they're an anime fan has seen. Now you just don't really get that. Probably. It's
So you kind of like, we have talked about that.
yeah.
Here's the link to that, by the way. We kind of talked about that where it's like at a certain point, like talking back uh 30 years ago now, I guess, like
Yeah.
it was in the tape trading days, you would have like a sort of baseline that you don't really have anymore because of the ease of accessibility. So like if you were like, oh, I'm an anime fan, you were probably involved in like the tape trading and fan communities where it's like
Why the fuck is
there
my
was only a
microphone?
Huh?
My audio was like messing up for some reason.
there was only a certain amount of titles that were kind of floating around.
Yeah.
And so you kind of had like a not even necessarily like a baseline of like, oh, everyone's seen this show.
Yeah.
Because that's probably not that far off from like now. Like Ranma and stuff is probably not far off from Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia or something.
Don, JJK.
Don to Don, something like that. But you had like a baseline understanding of like where they were at in, I guess, their quote unquote conviction, because like it was already so hard to be into anime at that point.
Yeah, you really had
like,
to go
if
out
you
and
were-
search for it.
Yeah, if you were saying you were an anime fan, there was like an implied level of dedication that there isn't
Yeah.
now because it's so much easier access. There is that level to it. I don't think that it necessarily implies that it was like of higher quality or like
Mhm.
how to put like
a greater sense of camaraderie.
yeah, there would have been a greater sense of camaraderie in that sense, because it's
Mhm.
like, oh, we had to go through the same kind of bullshit
Yeah,
to
yeah.
consume this media. But I don't like he's not talking about that period of time. He's talking about like
No.
10-15 years later.
Yeah, like we're not talking about the William Chow days. We're talking about the 2000s to early 2010s.
The Mr. Anime days.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
I am
we
a
pulled up-
human.
We pulled up this this is from 2000 September.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Here, let me try this.
Oh no. They aren't gonna let us
There
read
we
it.
go.
This is
There
from
we go.
September
Good Lord.
19th, 2004. So 20 and a half years ago.
Yeah.
And basically talking about like fake anime fans. Hold on, where does it say?
The anime culture in the West has gotten completely out of hand. In the past, it was mostly comprised of socially ostracized geeks who would read terrible photocopied fan sub handouts in poorly lit rooms just to get their next hit of Japanese animation. But now, the outrageously can't say that on YouTube, Courtney Love is on the biz. Like, what the fuck is going... This is in 2004, mind you.
I like the Hooked on Phoenix.
I don't know what
It's
that
like-
means. What are you...
They're referencing Hooked on Phonics, which, if you don't know what that is, it was like a reading, like it was basically like a tape thing that would help you learn to read by like sounding out words. And so it wasn't a great way to learn how to read, but like it was a way. And like,
Oh,
So
that's
when
way
people are
before
saying,
my
like, oh,
time.
you fucking Hooked on Phonics is basically saying like you're illiterate and you learned how to read like poorly, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, there's explaining this for you.
mean,
But you
shit,
said Hooked on Phoenix.
Let's see. Then we got this stuff, and so it's time for anime to grow up. This is almost 10 years prior. we're going way back now. This is like
We got to
approaching
go back.
30 fucking years ago. From Christopher Michael. I was watching Armitage last month when it suddenly hit me. I'm getting really sick and tired of these 15-year-old wide-eyed, half-naked schoolgirls running around saving the world. I've been watching anime since about 1986.
You've been a
Robotech,
dick,
of course. More recently, I've become a rather large fan of anime as an art form. However, it's getting harder and harder to find titles here in the States that don't seem to climax with some little girl getting her clothes ripped off by some ridiculous nether dimensional / biomechanical / nanotentacular monster, or in more extreme circumstances, some leather-clad biker bitch with purple hair and spiked heels who laughs like a hyena on lithium.
Holy, what is
Oddly specific.
What show is bro talking about?
Shonen Bako Sozoku. My personal favorites tend to be things like Soul Bianca, Lotus War, and Nausicaa, wherein a semi-original plot line and a semi-dressed heroine is just as important to the storyline as art. Keep in mind, the 1995.
Yeah,
What is
this like,
nanotentacular? That's a great question. I have no goddamn idea.
this is like talking more about like the anime side and like just the
Well, sure, but it should illustrate that it's
general-
like, you know, things never change.
the community is the same as it ever was.
What happened to all the classy anime nowadays? November 12th, 1994. This is over 30 years ago now. What are all the really classy, elegant anime? Where the Queen Millennia's, Kitaro soundtracks, real drama and mood. Count on Miyazaki to produce great stuff.
This is 1 year before Evangelion aired in Japan, by the way.
Yeah. You got like Pat Labor, Yuara, and the Galactic Heroes. To a certain extent, you know, back in these days, you had more of an excuse because again, it's what was available to you rather than you have basically any anime that has ever been released is accessible in some form or another, with some exceptions. But if you ever get to that point, we can have that conversation then.
You can go subtitles those anime yourself, like I am doing with Ako-chan.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. Don't do that.
Not everyone can do that.
So everything
but I can do
Gigguk
it
says
because
here
y'all suck.
is something that someone else would have said, like someone else did say 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, probably even 40 years ago. If we look at like Japan, people were probably like bitching about all these new anime fans who are getting into it with things like what's some stuff that came out in 1984.
I mean, people were already bitching about like Gundam and shit.
Oh yeah.
Like people, sci-fi fans were shitting on people that are getting into sci-fi with Gundam because Gundam was kiddie toy selling shit and it wasn't hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like that's,
I mean,
that's pretty documented.
Didn't Miyazaki shit on stuff in, I don't forget if this is like the 80s.
Miyazaki
but like,
doesn't like
remember
anything
when
that
anime used to
basically
be
came out
good with
after the year
Haku Jaden in the 1950s?
Haku
Yeah.
Jaden.
Haku
Yeah,
Jaden.
people have always been shitting on like, oh, just anime. Miyazaki was like, oh, and they make anime for otaku now. They don't make anime for family and children anymore like they did in the 1950s and 60s.
And you know, as a corollary, there's always then been this discussion regarding like all these fake anime fans, all these new anime fans, you know, people getting into fotaku, if you will.
Otaku.
I wonder where I heard that word from.
I'm pretty sure that's trademarked. I'm pretty sure you can't say that.
Am I not allowed to say that? You know, bleep that out. But it's like, yeah. So it's like, I mean, shit. How old is that? How old is that anime event video?
The Anime Man video. It's 19. 2011, I think.
Oh my god, doesn't even come up anymore.
Isn't it Fotaku, like F-Otaku? Like fake otaku?
No, oh, how to spot a fake otaku.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Yeah, 11 years ago, so 2013. So, you know, I mean, and again, it's like even more, because like obviously anime has become a lot more mainstream in a lot of regards, at least, you know, in certain capacities. Not necessarily, it hasn't exactly been evenly distributed as we've discussed, but there are a lot more anime fans now. you know, as someone, it's as someone who watches one anime, are they an anime fan? I think, you look 20 years ago, the answer would have been like, yeah, probably. But nowadays it's like, it depends. I get they just watched Monster on Netflix. They don't see that much more interest in watching any other anime, so not really.
Yeah. It's just fucking.
It's also kind of interesting seeing like what actual like normies, if they were to watch anime, what kind of anime they actually watch. Because I was talking to my mom a while ago about anime, and I just let her like pick some stuff that was available on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of shows that like she clicked on were Gudetama and Therme Rome. That's what she was interested in.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Not exactly.
Yeah,
so
so
what you're
even,
saying is
like,
your mom's
you know,
a fake
everyone
anime
has
fan,
seen-
and then did you like start yelling at her?
I mean, my mom's probably more of a real anime fan than most people. Have seen like Therme Rome. Like, let's be real. The one anime she knew before that was Malistol, and that's because I talk about it.
That's
So
kinda
she's a
fucking-
real one.
That's kind of
So
sweet.
my mom talking about Ashino Joe.
She does know about Ashita no Joe. I've shown her my jacket. I've shown her my mugs. She knows about it. She knows that Joe dies because I showed my ceramic figure, ceramic, however you say that. She knows.
My dad's knowledge of anime basically starts and ends with like I'll buy like these anime figures and stuff, and he's like, no, that's a good investment, they'll be worth a lot of money someday. And it's like, all right, I'm glad you support my interests. It's such like a cynical, money driven way.
There is one point in the video where he's like, "Oh, can you imagine the Death Note Light and L fan cams or whatever?" It's like, dog, you're basically just describing what blingies were.
Yeah, no, that's not a new thing. Shit, it'd be,
I mean,
they'd be
blingies were
like
like
Linkin Park
2007,
AMVs, but it's the
I
same
think.
general conceit.
Yeah, like AMVs were definitely sort of, at least when YouTube started, that was like the common thing.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
why
wasn't
people still
AMV,
think
like
AMVs are really
actual-
cringe.
Like animated music videos, or they use clips from the anime. No,
Yeah.
they just go on Google and they like take fan art.
Take fan
Which,
art,
by the
take
way, like
GIFs.
people are nostalgic about that kind of stuff now. If people did the exact same thing now, they would get fucking flamed for like not crediting the artist, because no one did any of that shit back then.
Oh God, no. Oh God, no. I could pull.
But
I
it
don't
was
want to
super,
search
like,
for old
normalized and,
AMVs on
like,
YouTube
common.
because copyright or maybe something inappropriate will come up. But yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I know exactly what I can pull up. Hold on.
There were a lot of artists that like I knew from having seen their art in videos like that. There's like one guy, I think his name was like Sigford something.
I don't know where this art is from, but it's like this is what you would get back in the day.
Yeah.
We get like
And
the
you know,
crack ship
Nightcore
AMVs
stuff.
too.
Oh God, yeah,
Like I posted
Yeah,
this like playlist.
yeah. Why don't I open it up? Hold on, God damn it. Oh God. What the
Like some of them are
fuck?
newer and like obvious ship posts. But then
13
some of
years
them are
ago.
like 13, 14 years old and like have like a pretty high level of quality behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, nothing. No, yeah, nothing changes. It's not like I get. Yeah, you go. I guarantee you, I could go back. I could go back to like the Internet Archive and stuff. I could definitely find like Light and L like shipping websites 100%. There's not a doubt
yeah.
in my mind.
I literally came across a Yukito and Toya like shipping site while doing research for a video, and you just find that from like websites linking to other websites. So
Oh yeah.
well, not shipping related. I remember I was browsing the official Fun Pharmacy website, and it linked to other fan websites. And eventually, like, I just happened to stumble across somebody's like Dojin site where they were selling porn, like CD-ROMs of the characters.
Hell yeah.
So,
love porn.
you know, the whole like the internet was not safe for children back then either.
Wait, was there a Sausage Party AMV in here?
Control F.
No, that would be cheating.
Oh, the funny thing, the funny response to like, oh, the anime community was like somehow some monolith, like they were whole together, or whatever. Is like, oh, that yeah. How many shoujo did you read? Did you read? How'd you like D and Angel? Like, oh wait, you didn't? You didn't?
No?
No. How? What about your? Share your cosplay horror stories. Did
I
you
don't cosplay.
Did you cosplay as like a Bishonen character and get glomped at an anime convention? Get assaulted
wasn't-
by a yaoi paddle? No.
No.
Huh.
Huh.
Curious.
I guess you're a fake fan because you were never sexually assaulted at an anime convention. back in my day, that's how we became men.
There was literally like a
The older anime
Twitter
fans would
post.
dress us up as their favorite Sailor Scouts and then run train on us in the bathroom.
there was like a tweet that I saw last year that was somebody posting like old photos of like Oron shit at like old conventions and being like, man, this looked so fun. Like I want to go back to these days. And then there were like people in the comment sections and quote tweets talking about like all of the sexual assault happening,
Oh,
like
God,
actual
yeah.
rape.
I
Just
mean,
like
they still fucking.
consent.
You can go on like the cosplay board and like they'll have like the occasional like convention horror stories threads, and like there's some that are just like infamous where it's like people just didn't bathe for weeks.
I mean, last Comic Ed 104, I remember editing for Salaryman. There was a story about a guy like creeping on. It was this, I think, a European like Asuka from Evangelion cosplayer that like made news.
Oh yeah,
I remember hearing about
The
that.
Freeran guy too.
Yeah.
And now there was the guy like going crazy over Makiine, like probably trying to copy that guy. So like this shit is happening in Japan too, and we just don't hear about it a lot of the time because of.
I mean,
you
I don't
know,
live in Japan.
Yeah.
I remember reading like a one horror story of like a convention where it's like some girl like hadn't bathed in Lord knows how long, and like she was having a visit from her aunt, and decided she was going to mark her favorite characters, and you know, just dipping her finger into the ink and you know, smearing it on people that were like cosplayed as her favorite characters. Yeah. You get some really gross fucking shit, like some straight up just horror stories. And it's like, oh wait,
Yeah.
you didn't know about this stuff? What? Like, oh, it's bizarre to like even think for a second that it's like, oh yeah, we used to all be so tight knit. Everyone knew all the same anime. It's like, what do you mean?
Your nostrils didn't get assaulted by BO at an anime convention. I never actually encountered any bad or strange smells in an anime convention before. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm not getting close enough to people. Maybe I'm maintaining a proper like.
I don't know. I feel like it's one of those
I'm
things where
respecting
like
people's bubbles and they're
you hear
respecting
about it
mine.
from people who are making jokes, and then you just like that's your narrative now. Because I'm the same. Like I've never really had that happen. Like, does it happen? Sure, definitely, maybe. But I feel like people going to a convention, not even just now, like, since forever.
Yeah.
There are going to be exceptions, but the exceptions are not going to be the
most
rule.
people I've encountered at anime conventions, and I've been to a number of large ones, are pretty normal.
Yeah, even concerts, like I've never really had that happen, and I've gone to like several metal shows and stuff like that.
I feel like I've encountered like bad smells at metal shows before because you're fucking like moshing with people and everyone is sweating
like
anyway.
Pressed up against each
Right.
other, and maybe the weather's hot, so and that's like outside
That makes more
as well,
sense.
so,
Yeah. Although they
like,
do have anime
conventions
raves now.
inside. Now,
Anime rave.
Hasn't that
I
also,
went to an
like,
anime
always been-
rave 15 years ago.
Really? What was it like?
Like a rave with people dressed up as anime characters occasionally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fun.
you get a lot of those in the UK. I feel.
No,
The
that's why I
UK
never went
loves
back.
raves.
Yeah, there was one that
I don't
was in
blame you.
DC like a few months ago, and I was like, I could go, and it'd either be a lot of fun or it'd be like five guys in a room, just like just swinging their arms around, or like, or just kind of like standing there holding drinks, being like, "Oh, where the two cosplay girls?"
See, those five guys are the real ones though, because they're just gonna do that whether or not anyone's there.
I go to the anime rave. I bring my Beyblades. That would get the party really started.
I saw some clip. It was like some dude with a tech deck. He did like a kickflip over some coffee. Just imagine like doing that with a Beyblade.
Just doing that like it's like
Like on a first
we need to
date,
figure out
just pull a
some drinking
Beyblade.
game with Beyblades and like solo cups. I know a lot of the women I know have been say otherwise, but it could just be their experience. I think, yeah, I mean, as a woman, you're probably going to have a bit of a different experience at an anime con than a guy. Just because people are weird to guys. People are weird to girls. Also, I mean, attractive guys as well, but
Yeah, if you
I mean,
play
look
into
at
like
us.
the BL thing, you'll definitely have that.
yeah.
So if you're like, old school Sea Dog, that'll definitely happen. But if you're just like a guy walking around with nothing, same thing with like a girl, I feel.
Mhm.
But women in general tend to have
So
it
I think
rougher in nerd spaces.
Women who go to anime conventions should be required to dress like they are in Afghanistan.
Oh my
just-
god.
Just head to toe, burqas, can't even see their eyes. Maybe they can have like a niqab on, so they can at least like show their eyes as a treat. And then
As a
that
treat.
will, and that will solve all the problems, because believe it or not, guys, Afghanistan doesn't really have much of a problem with like anything like sexual assault.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, I've never, the women they just don't complain.
Sounds like a good time to go into our sponsor.
The Taliban.
I don't like. Yeah, I've heard some fucking like, even as like a guy, like you imagine this shit as like a guy,
Yeah.
and like he's someone that's like 6'3". I'm like imagining people that are just generally shorter than me. I'm like, it wouldn't be as much of a problem, but like there's I read this one story. It was like they're on an elevator and some guy's just like, I have a knife, and just to let y'all know, no one's getting out of here alive, when the door closed. And it's like, I imagine it's like some poor attempt at humor, but like, imagine like that person is like a foot taller than you. It's like,
Well, then that would
It's not
just
very
be
funny
an
anymore.
average
They
day
look
in
like
the
Ed
UK.
Kemper.
That's just going to London.
let's just go into London. That must have been a London anime convention.
There was one anime comic that my college held that made the lecture halls fucking reek for a few days. But otherwise, at the large cons, it's been fine. Huh.
I mean, as somebody that's been to Comic-Con,
Yeah.
I can tell you that whole bullshit about like the Japanese don't stink or they don't have like an armpit smell or whatever the fuck is fucking horse shit.
Was that Summer Comic-Con?
Yeah, it was summer Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, you got to give people credit if it's like a hot environment and you're all just being
No,
herded.
I'm not giving them credit when they're like, "Oh, we don't smell." Unlike freaking white people, we don't have bacteria that cause you to smell, so we don't smell. We never smell from our armpits. Like, no, you fucking do. I've been to summer Comic-Con. Don't you fucking lie to me.
Did you know that Japan has 4
Japan's
seasons?
the only country with 4 seasons. Horse shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I do. Yeah, I think people, the reputation that anime conventions have as being like gross cesspits. I mean, they're cesspits, but they're not really gross.
No, that's the Smash Bros tournaments.
Oh, okay. The
anime
Yu-Gi-Oh
conventions-
tournaments
Anime conventions lost that title like years ago.
years ago.
Yeah,
What do you
you
think
see,
that
gamers
is?
are the actual problem.
We're just
The
like fewer
gamers
there we go. Yeah, if we just get rid of like the gaming halls at anime conventions, that will solve literally every problem. They shouldn't even be there to begin with. All right, this should be about anime. All right, not even manga. Stop having manga stuff at conventions. It's an anime convention. All right.
That would be so goated though, like going to a convention and you don't see all of the fucking MiHoYo shit and the dumbass. Get rid of the comic books too. Like, we don't need those. Get rid of the comic books. Get rid of that fucking manga. Just give me like people selling shit for Soul Bianca. That's what I want.
I did go to like a general, I think it was like GalaxyCon in like Louisville, Kentucky or something. Which was just like a general like nerd culture thing, and I was just walking around and I'm like, man, this sucks. This is so fucking boring. There's like nothing to do. I mean, already like going to anime conventions, it is just kind of like, man, I don't have a lot to do besides like there are a couple panels that I like at like Otakon. You know, so like I'll go to like the Anime Ego panel, go to the Discotheque panel, and then like some panels like industry people. And then the rest of it is literally just like walking around the dealer hall and being like, what money do I want to spend? $1,000? $2,000? $3,000.
If you even get up to that much, because I went to Comic-Con like a while ago, and there was just nothing that like I really wanted. Like, what did I get? I bought a Baumkuchen for me and my mom. So that's like a thing you eat, a treat. Which is actually from like Germany, but Japan likes it. I got that. I got a coaster because I thought that would be useful, and I think that's about it. No, I got a body pillowcase. I got one for Darkness from Tulabru at probably a really marked up price, because I was looking at like Japanese Mercari. And
yeah.
they had like Mihari from Onimai for like $20. So, you know, could have gotten that instead, but whatever. I like Darkness too.
Outside of Comic-Con, do
purchase.
other conventions sell dojins? Do they sell merch? What's the commerce like? So, I mean, there are like other. Go check out Overworked Salaryman. There are like other events in Japan for people selling like dojin stuff, but in terms
If you're talking
of
about
like
in the West,
in the like in like the US or like Europe.
most
I feel
conventions
like you don't really get dojins. Like internationally, you just get like keychains mainly.
Yeah.
Maybe acrylic stamps, but keychains and stickers is basically all you're getting.
not even official. It's like artist alley stuff. So you're getting like posters.
Well, yeah, so
someone
it's,
drew.
you know, fan art
Right.
of shitty
But
Western
even like
art.
But even like the artist alleys at like conventions, like anime conventions here in the US, have a very different vibe to them than like a Comic-Con of like people selling doujinshi or just Dojin works in general.
Yeah.
And I remember because there was like at a most recent AX, they had people from, I don't know, things like Kadokawa or like other major corporations in Japan walking around the artist alley and just kind of being confused why there are so many derivative works, especially that are just like character art and things like that.
Mhm.
And you know, it probably has to do with like a combination of the fact that stalls are much bigger at conventions. Conventions charge a larger admission fee for vendors. So as a result, then in order to make your money back as someone in an artist alley, you then need to, you know, play to the crowd and charge a little bit and charge more as well.
That's a good
So yeah, there
site to
isn't
buy
really
dojins.
a
Deal site?
good scene for that when it comes to stuff outside, like, you know, stuff here in the West, you know, in the US, Canada, UK, other parts of Europe, presumably.
I'm not really enough into dojins to where I would know a great site. I know Mandarake sells dojins on their site.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's things like of course now I'm like DL site, I believe, would have some stuff, things like
Yeah,
that.
deal site. I said that. I guess like the thing about Comiket too is like I would say Comiket is more of like a Comic Con in the sense that it's not just about anime, it's about like hobbyist culture.
Yeah.
But it's like more like also outside of what we would consider nerd hobbies. So
oh yeah,
like American comic books, like outside of that. So I remember Salaryman a while ago. He saw this guy who took pictures with like a really old school camera from like the early 1900s or late 1800s, whatever.
Mhm.
And that was like his thing at that convention. And there's just a ton of people like that too, you know, that
Do you
sell
like-
keyboard keys.
do you like old fax machines? Oh boy, are you in for a real treat.
There's probably a guy for that. There's a guy for
I think
everything.
there are
There's
several, for what I've been told.
several. Yeah, definitely.
I think when we had Salaryman on the podcast, he was literally telling us about like there was a guy with a booth just giving like his analysis of the war in Ukraine.
I remember that.
It was like, okay, yeah, anything, yeah. So it is also just like less restricted to like what we would consider like nerd culture stuff. You're not gonna have
Yeah.
like you go to like a
That's-
an anime expo or Comic-Con or whatever, and you're not gonna have people like showing you how to like 3D print stuff, really.
Yeah, you're gonna see people giving their like essays, but it's like a video essay in like a written form.
Punk zines, dojins seem like a spiritual descendant. Yeah, I think there's definitely a connection there to be drawn. I mean, there have been like fanzines in Japan and the US probably in the US since the 90s, maybe even since the 80s, and certainly for an eternity in Japan, going probably all the way back to like sci-fi culture in Japan. I mean, the
Yeah,
same
it's been
actually
a thing
probably
in
even
Europe
apply here in the
definitely for a
US as
while,
well.
too.
Like, what'd you say?
I was saying like fanzines and stuff like that was also definitely like big in Europe. I can't like name any at the top of my head, but Europe
Mhm.
has had anime for longer, generally
yeah.
speaking, and more accessible than the US has.
Yeah,
Like
and it's
Italy's
like-
always been on anime. They've
And if we
always
just like
embraced
look
it.
outside of that into like just other subcultures, like sci-fi subculture, fantasy subcultures, you could find like fanzines for like, you know, like war games, tabletop stuff going all the way back to like the 1950s in the US. And it just ends up, you know, just kind of bleeding and, you know, evolving in different ways, and you get like, you know, anime fanzines. I remember specifically when I was looking into the history of was it Otakon or was it what's the oldest anime convention from Texas? Movie, do you know?
Akon.
Akon. I think I was looking at stuff like that, and they had like a fanzine, or there was like some fanzine related to it that I was like looking into. I think it's on archive.org. Interesting stuff though. And it's, you look a little bit, you'd be surprised what you can find when it comes to stuff like that.
Moomy, in your opinion,
oh, you read it.
what is the most overlooked Gainax anime? I haven't
Ebichu?
really like objectively tried to like do the numbers or anything. The
I
first one
have
that
a
comes to
good
mind
answer
would
for
be Petite Princess Yushi.
That would be mine too.
I'm not like gone and scrutinized it to figure out like how popular it is versus score or anything like that, but
I feel like Yushi is probably like the biggest sort of divide because like Yushi is liked, like it's pretty highly rated on Mal and stuff like that. But have you ever seen people talk about Yushi? Like even something like Mahoromatic, I feel like you see gifs and stuff like that posted of it because, you know, widescreen cell anime HD boobs. And like
Battle mode.
what are some other battle mode? Actually, yeah, it might be battle mode now that I think about it. Might be beat shot.
Blazing Transfer Student kind of underrated, not gonna lie.
yeah, Blazing Transfer Student seems like it's got less members. I also do like Wish Upon the Pleiades.
Oh, like
Like it's not like I don't think it's as good as UC. I think it's fine. It's cute. I don't know if it fits as well, but notable.
You Are My Master, the one of the many Gynax Shaft collabs.
That's a banger.
Yeah, I guess UC would be my. I would go with. C3 is worth checking out.
Yeah.
Has an interesting story behind it. You know, like a meta sense.
To be announced. What even the fuck is this?
Not
Cancelled.
yet released.
Stayed on this.
Oh.
When the fuck was this even? I've not seen this before.
Why is it the status not yet released? Like Gynax
know.
literally went
Gynax is
bankrupt.
dead. It's
It got
literally
buzzed on Wikipedia.
someone should start a channel that only does Gynax deep dives. I think you're describing Steven's channel.
Yeah, that's that's what
wait.
they should do next.
Isn't
After
Ebichu?
Oshi, just Gynax deep dives.
He's already covered a lot of it with Hideaki Anno.
Yeah, I just gotta fill out the rest.
Fill out the rest, yeah. Yeah, is Ebichu not? Did I? Where the hell's Ebichu at? I'm losing my
92,
damn
wasn't it?
mind. Also, is that Christmas music playing again? This music is all just having me real sussed out that like this stream's gonna get copyright claimed.
We don't even hear the music on our side, so
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I've had it like playing like really low in the background.
Isn't Uru Blue like another studio?
Uru and Blue I don't think is ever gonna come out.
You really think so? Are you that much of a doubter? Do you not have any faith in Gunbuster 3?
If it does happen, it's gonna happen in like Kara. I think Ebichu might be marked as adult, and that's why it's not showing up because I'm not signed in. Let me see. Yep, I was completely right. It's marked as adult, so it doesn't count. But yeah, no, it's Gynax.
I guess to bring it back around, kind of what we were talking about,
Yeah, I've kind of gotten a little bit sidetracked.
which is fine.
It's fine.
We kind of touched on it in a roundabout way. We were talking about how people like talk about like, oh, anime was so much better back then,
Right.
back in the day, or like going even back to like the 1950s or 60s or whatever. You get an. I'm trying to figure out how to word this to tie this in together.
God fucking damn it.
Because you do get people that kind of start co-opting shit, and they're like, what kind of spurred it on is I saw there was a post that was talking about how anime used to be brutal and anime is not brutal anymore. And you would post like, oh well, what about like Eden and Tachi or whatever,
Yeah.
or you know, name your edgy show and like, oh yeah, but it doesn't have impact like Ideon did or whatever.
Okay, is that's the bar?
Yeah, that's the bar. And then someone was like, oh well, you know, back then they didn't have there was more testosterone and you know, there weren't as many we'll say problematic elements or whatever. And it's just like, you know, it's very interesting you're saying this in response to Ideon,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with famed crossdresser Tomino.
Yoshiyuki Tomino. Yeah, I don't know.
Who-
People, yeah, there are like weird people are like, oh, anime is like too woke nowadays, and it's like, why are you like this? What's wrong with you?
Well, they like try to like impress this like idea that like anime is like some fucking bastion of like right-wing conservatism or something, and it's like, yeah, there's sure just elements of that in there.
Yeah,
They
but
are
it's as
socially
politically diverse
they're-
as any other like artistic entertainment industry.
Yeah, it happens with literally everything. You hear the same shit in music, you hear the same shit in cinema. And it's like, okay, cool. You watched like the most popular movies of the 1940s. Cool. Have you seen a movie in the past like 20 years? No. Okay. Why should I take your word for anything? You're not
Yeah.
even watching everything from the 1940s, so you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You know, if all you think like 80s anime is Fist of the North Star and shit like that, okay.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen literally anything?
Well, it's funny when they try to do it
Like
with
it's
anime
so surface level.
because it's like, do you even know what you're trying to co-opt? Like
Yeah.
even if you're just like, oh, you know, Miyazaki's one of the good ones. It's like, you do realize he says shit like, is it wrong to fall in love with a 12-year-old? Like,
Right. Yeah.
these are not like, if your ideal is like trying to have some weird like Fist of the North Star Kenshiro type of like ideal, nobody in the anime industry is going to fit that. So it's just
No.
weird that like you're trying to co-opt it for those purposes in that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, it always comes back to the round. It always comes back around to the fact that, like, I mean, I don't think those people really watch much anime.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's posing this idea of like superiority because you want to have like social status in whatever community you're a part of. But then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, are you actually contributing anything
well, that's
to
the
that
way. Anytime I
community?
see someone like that, anyone complaining about tourists, anyone talking about gatekeeping, I'm always like, drop your my anime list. Drop your list right now.
Square
Yeah.
up.
Or just
Square
like
up,
your
square up.
accomplishments.
Yeah.
If you're complaining so much about anime doing this and this and that, then like, okay, gather up a fucking subbing group and subtitle some of these older shows. That's what I'm doing with Ako-chan because I'm fucking fed up and pissed off, and that's what fuels literally all of my creative drive.
Oh yeah,
It's
I mean,
me being fucking pissed off.
there are people like with like movies and stuff who like will just perpetually complain that like Hollywood is dead or whatever, but then like movies suck now, but all they watch is like Marvel shit and Star Wars, and it's like, why do you continue to watch this stuff? I don't get it. There are better things out there.
I mean, there are conversations to be had with that kind of thing. If you're talking specifically about like theater culture and how like Disney is basically like held theaters captive because like you're like, oh, well, if you don't play this movie for 2 weeks at this deal, we're not going to give you the newest Star Wars or whatever. Fuck, like there's conversations you can have about that, but
Sure.
like, the way that they're framing these conversations is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, movies are dead because fucking woke Disney
Well,
Star Wars.
I mean, it's the same thing with video games too. People always complain like, oh man, AAA video games now, they all suck or whatever. You know, video games, the video game industry is bad now, and it's like, why are you playing these games? There are so many good
Then you
video
get, like,
games coming
any
out nowadays. Why are you
developer
torturing
or
yourself?
like industry person, and they just like scoff at you. I remember Chet Falzek, who used to work for Valve, like replied to someone being like, "What do you think about like Counter-Strike basically being dead now?" And he looks at the stats for Counter-Strike, and it's like the second most popular game on Steam or something. And it's not, you know, the commentary was like, "Oh, but it's dead because of like bots and stuff like that." Okay, well, most like people are playing this game still,
Mhm.
you know, like that's what they're thinking about.
What if movies suck now, but the only thing you watch is the Criterion Collection? Does that person exist? I want to see that. I fucking hate these Criterion movies, but I can't stop watching them.
Oh, it does piss me off. Like, not even like because of what they're saying specifically, but like it's just like what it's like frustrating. Like, why even like when people talk about like they're talking about the new season, like, oh, this new season sucks. It's fucking garbage, and it's like 2/3 of the shit hasn't even aired yet. It's like, what do you mean?
I mean, it's literally the same energy as like the people who are like, I was born in the wrong generation. This music from the 70s is way better than all the trash we have. Like, if anyone was like, anyone who says that like music nowadays sucks, it's all trash or whatever, anyone who like pays like an inkling of intelligence to any music coming out nowadays is just gonna like laugh them out of the room. And it's like, okay, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Same energy as like I listened to everything but rap it country.
Yeah,
like
and
20
it's
years
like,
ago.
and it's like, yeah, I mean, you're only listening to like top 40 stuff. And it seems like you don't like top 40 stuff.
I mean, half the time I
aren't you,
feel like they're
like-
not even listening to top 40. They're just like, they just have this idea of like what top 40 sounds to them. Like, oh, it's just Taylor Swift and Drake. And it's like, okay, you're not actually following top 40. I see.
And it's like, yeah, I don't like Star Wars. I don't really like Marvel. I've not seen any of those movies because I know I wouldn't really fucking like them. Instead, I'm much more content watching other things like a normal person. I see something and I'm like, yeah, I don't even like that. I don't watch it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I guess there's a difference in it's like, because a lot of those people, like, I didn't watch fucking Rise of Skywalker after, because like I watched last show, I was like, okay, I don't really give a shit about these anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like fucking the last one. I don't like this one. Like, I'm just done. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I ended up watching it because someone, like a friend of mine, wanted to put it on, and we like laughed at it or whatever. But I just stopped watching. Like, you just stop going. But like, people just cannot stop themselves or something. Like, they have to keep going.
Practice what you preach. Be the change you want to see in the world. I don't think I don't think people should be watching Disney movies. I think Disney as a company sucks. Therefore, I do not watch their movies.
I still haven't seen fucking Endgame.
I think I've seen Iron Man 1, 2, first Thor movie. Does Morbius count or Madam Web? I watched both
Sony.
Okay. I think that's literally it. I don't think I've seen anything else.
Well, it's like you literally do not have a sense of taste. Like, if you're like fucking looking at like a season and you're just like seeing some of the fucking synopsis and like the poster,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, this all looks terrible. It's all fucking garbage. Why?
Yeah.
Because
this is not to like actively avoid popular things either, because I think to have a good palate is to like go out and seek out stuff that you would find interesting, obviously, but also be open-minded to the stuff that is popular so that you actually know what's going on. Since I've been following like top 40 music, I feel like I've been having a lot more fun just listening to music because I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what's actually popular right now.
Well, I think the problem therein lies, Hayden, is like I don't think people are really that interested in going out and finding stuff like in any capacity.
No.
What they want is they want an algorithm to tell them what they should experience, and then that's it. That's as far as it goes for most people. Like no one's
But I
going
feel like if you're
out,
complaining about
no one's
if
going
you're
out looking for
complaining about
music. No one's going
isekai
out
and
looking for
stuff like
movies.
that.
No one's going out looking for video games. Like you have a Steam queue that you can use to find new and interesting games, and it's like, so why does the conversation still surrounding what was
Assassin's
it?
Creed.
Yeah,
EA?
Assassin's Creed, Star Wars, the Star Wars where the lady looks like she looks bad. I don't get it.
I mean, even that, I feel like there's so much even just popular stuff that you could get into. So if you hate modern country music, okay, Zach Bryan's good.
Brian,
Zach Top is good. You know, there's still like so much stuff, and these are not, you know, small people. Same thing with anime, same thing with literally anything else. There is so much like actually popular stuff that if you knew anything about the surface level, like you would know about these people. Like maybe not Zach Top, but you would know about Zach Bryan in the case of like country music.
right?
Like it's not that difficult.
It's really not.
It really is just you're complaining about isekai because you're not watching them, and you see like a few of them like on the charts, and if you see one, that is like too many. You know, you just reject the idea of these shows even existing, and you don't respect the fact that these shows are not created specifically for you. They're created for an audience.
Right.
Well, isekai has just become like the easy punching bag, kind of like
Yeah.
harem.
They're like, yeah, harem
shows.
anime, ecchi anime
Yeah.
back in the day.
Like people just like you're able to just easily point to that as like a problem and then just shit on it without having seen it. So like people
It's
keep
the
being like,
rap and country music of the anime community from
essentially,
like 20 years
Yeah.
ago.
people keep saying like, half this stuff is all just isekai, and you look and it's like there's like 5 isekai, and you're like, what are you talking about? There's like like not even a
We're
fucking
watching so
third
many
is
shows.
isekai.
Yeah. It's like we watch
And
so
then
many
they're like, oh,
shows in a
well,
season, and like,
Generic fantasy shows are just as bad as isekai. What?
And then you watch like a shitty YouTube video that keeps bringing up the fucking vending machine show, and that like reinforces that
Oh,
idea
God.
in your head.
Dude, fucking YouTube is such a fucking black pill, dude.
oh
like,
god,
Every time
Yeah,
I see a
TikTok's
fucking
like that,
video and like they start referencing like Asmongold and the fucking Dragon Maid dub, and I'm just like,
oh god.
this is gone on for 7 years.
It's gonna be 8 this year.
Why?
Well, it's been going on for 7 years because it's people who don't actually watch anime.
They
You
don't
think
watch
any
anime.
of those people actually
watch anime,
watched
people who
the
have
Dragon
not
Maid
paid
dub?
Any attention to the
I watched it.
conversation?
I thought it was great.
I think did
It's
I
really
watch
good.
Dragon Maid? I feel like I may have at one point.
It's really charismatic. The writing's good. Yeah, there's the couple lines that like you notice when you watch it, but when you're actually watching it, you're enjoying the show and you don't give a fuck because Lukoa's cool. I like her. She said a funny thing. Haha. Okay, move on. Next line. It's one single line.
Mhm.
Even doing like localization myself, I know that there are probably going to be lines like that I'm going to write. I have written lines like that where I feel like maybe people wouldn't like this, but I'm like, this sounds like shit if I just keep it like intact with Japanese.
Mhm.
It just sounds bad. And I don't want bad subtitles. I want something that people can follow and that follows like modern sensibilities. So there's a lot of cases in Akko where I'm just like, these guys just sound like fucking assholes for no reason. I'm gonna make them not sound like complete dicks. And so
Well,
I
I mean,
guess
It's not really like a subtitle thing. It's or like a localization. It's like people who are getting in and just not paying attention to the conversation or anything. And basically, we need to bring back people lurking more, where they fucking open their yaps.
Get fucking filtered. Like the thing about the dragon, I think we've talked about it. Like, I don't like that line. I think it's kind of stupid. Like, it's a bit like, trying to be too clever.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, that is the joke in the sub. Like, it's not as in your face, but like her being like, oh yeah, everyone kept asking me why if I was cold. That's like her being kind of stupid and like or dense, I guess you could say, where she doesn't realize, like, because that's a passive aggressive way for Japanese people to be like, oh, your clothes are too revealing.
right.
Aren't you cold? Don't you want to cover up? Like, so yeah, I guess in a sense it's like pesky patriarchal demands or whatever, as they say. It doesn't really make sense for the character Lukoa to even know that. So like, I think it's a bit like trying too hard, but it's like, who cares? It's one fucking line. Just fucking
Right.
move on. Like, it's not even like out of the spirit of the joke. That is the spirit of the joke. The joke is talking about that specific thing.
I
It's
think
just
even in the context of
universe.
Lukoa, like maybe she wouldn't use the word patriarchy. Maybe she would, but like she's pretty ditzy. I can see her as like the sort of, you know, like how Japanese people stereotype like Americans like in anime. Like I can kind of see her as that. Maybe not as loud, but you know, she kind of fits into that. She wouldn't be silly about it.
I mean, if this were like what they're trying to make it out to be, like it just was purely trying to insert ideology and like something like that's because that's like the way they characterize it, right? Like, oh, they took like a line where like somebody was like, hey, I really like fish sticks, and they just took it out and were like, I want to eat the rich and implement communist revolution. And it's like, whoa, that's crazy, but that's not what happened. Like, yeah, it's a bit like on the nose, but it's just still the same joke. That's what the joke is. I don't.
Yeah. Thankfully, fan subs never make that mistake of inserting, you know, like board humor or anything like that. Let me pull up this screenshot that John sent me from Babel the Second.
Oh God, am I gonna be able to show this on stream?
I'll show you one that you can show. The other one does say the N-word in it with a hard R, so sadly I cannot show that. But this is one you can put up on screen.
What the fuck?
Damn.
I mean, I don't even like.
I mean, I don't. Yeah.
I have complicated feeling with fan subs because, like, on one hand, it's like I don't really care that much if you like put a joke in here or there like that. If you're just doing straight up fucking meme subs, that's a bit annoying. If like that's the only sub that's available.
Yeah.
But it, like, I don't know.
I do
it's
care
just-
because that's going to be the only available version a lot of the times for these shows. And I feel like when you have something that is so scarce, then you should treat that with the utmost respect. So even though I'm taking a lot of liberties with Akko, like trying to modernize it, I'm trying to do it in a way that would just like put less people off from the show. Just make it feel like if this show was on right now on Crunchyroll, like you could be able to watch it just fine, like if you're any age. Like that's my goal with it.
Has anyone actually qualified how many subs and how many dubs are wildly misinterpretations or simple localizations? See, what's funny about that is people seem to generally really have really fond memories and really have high reverence for the Ghost Stories dub.
Which I don't understand.
And it's fucking garbage.
Yeah.
It is just the thing of like, if you've actually seen Ghost Stories in its entirety, then it just gets unbearable with the occasional like good moment in it. But it's like, okay, at the cost of a good show.
Right.
Okay, fuck you.
Like, I feel like people just think that's okay because it's equally
Because
as
they haven't
cynical.
seen it in Japanese.
I haven't seen it in Japanese, but it's either it is the dub itself is equally as cynical as a lot of these kind of assholes are, where they're just like, "Oh, well, this show fucking sucks anyway," and I'm just gonna make fun of, the what I perceive to be problems in anime that just are everywhere, even though I've only seen like 20 anime or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. So do you think they could get away, like, doing like, oh, I'm gonna put my Marxist ideology into the show, but it's like some isekai that everyone just thinks is trash anyway.
They could probably get away with it.
I mean, they'd probably still complain about it if they caught wind of it, to be honest.
Maybe.
But they fucking put this it's fucking, like, they wouldn't watch it, so they just have to hear it from somebody else, and then they just complain about it, even though they've never seen it.
I don't know if people would care about that as much, because it seems like anytime like shit like this causes a ruckus, it's because of woke or because of like a meme. So like Nagatoro saying sus, or
Oh yeah.
Lukoa saying patriarchy because of woke.
Well, yeah, that's what they would. But if you're putting like ideology into an isekai, they would just use that as a talking point,
Yeah.
whether or not they
Yeah,
care
but
about it or not.
use like communism as an example. I don't think people really care about that as much.
I insert
Maybe
my
they would
No,
just
they would.
thinking that-
They would totally. These people would totally bring that up. Be like, "See, this is what they would have implemented. They're just hiding it, and now they're just saying the quiet part out loud. They just gotten more bold. They're saying they're communist." It's like, okay, but they don't need to. Like, they didn't watch the fucking Dragon Maid dub either.
It's true.
One person saw it and posted it somewhere. Actually, we've talked about this.
Oh yeah, I know who posted it.
We know who posted this.
Yeah. I can't remember
We
the
know who
name
you
now,
are.
but if you've been in 4P, you know the person. What the hell's their name? Shit. Fuck.
We know what you were doing.
Hold on. I'm gonna find this post. Hold on.
Most people voicing YouTube compilations why they like it. Yeah, pretty much. Like we actually did watch the whole show dubbed, because that's how the group watch wanted to watch it for some reason, and it's fucking depressing because like you could tell it's a good show, like the way it's like paced and like executed and like the production of it.
It is
You
the
can tell it's a good
director
show.
of the,
Oh, it was
GTO.
Jekko.
Check it out. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
We've said
Yeah.
you by name. You know who you are.
You know who you. Yeah. I think our like conspiracy theory was like a weird marketing stunt or something.
Yeah. I mean, it was around the time that shit was like
Yeah.
a problem or whatever. Yeah, fuck people that like try to co-opt shit for stupid fucking reasons.
Yeah, and also people that were just completely incurious about anything, seemingly. And
Oh,
they're
yeah,
just
like when these people are like, "Oh, I fucking all this shit fucking," it's like, just fucking watch it. The
Yeah.
fuck?
it's not that hard.
How do
just
you
gotta,
know it's gonna be bad? You haven't seen it.
gotta sit down, turn it on. If you don't like it,
I think more people
you could
should
turn it
watch
on.
dubs in general to have an opinion of them. That's my opinion.
Dubs. I've
it's
seen
funny,
enough
Hayden,
dubs
because
in
we
my life.
were going to watch the new Lord of the Rings movie last night, War of the Rohirrim or whatever, and we decided against it because there is no Japanese dub out yet. We're just
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't want to hear British people for 2.5 hours.
Oh well, if it's British people, then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand.
More
Yeah,
understandable.
don't watch any dubs with British people in it.
No. I
Don't
actually
watch
did-
Wedding
I
Peach
remember
dub,
playing.
except do.
I wanted to play Xenoblade Chronicles, and I got it for my 3DS, and I started playing it, and I couldn't take it anymore. And I was like, I don't care how good the game is, this is going to kill me. I don't want to
British
hear these
people.
characters yap anymore. Please stop.
And they say gamers only want to play good games.
Oh no, I mean gamers don't care about games being good anymore. You don't know about that?
No, yeah, as long as it doesn't have British people.
No, hold
Or
on,
woke.
let's see if we can find it. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Everyone's favorite Twitter personality, Grums.
Who?
This guy. You seen this guy before?
Hideaki
He's like a weird guy. I think he worked at like Blizzard or something. Is he the one like stealing like women's breast milk?
What?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
I mean, I did hear about that.
Okay.
But what? Who would do that?
The man leading the crusade to make all women in video games hot. Kotaku. Okay, what does Trigun have to do with that? I'm
There's
drawing
a
a
lot of
line.
hot
Anyway,
women in
I'm drawing a
True.
line. I'm rejecting any game that has pronouns in it. I don't care if the game is good. So, I mean, Grums is a real gamer. So I don't think real gamers care about games being good anymore.
Real gamer hard R?
Yeah, gamer with a hard R.
Why can't they? You just say that the modern anime industry has become way too insular, catering to the lowest common denominator, stretching artists too thin, erasing them almost completely, thus making anime more soulless. What?
I think that's supposed to be the party line.
Why
I think
can't
I think we're supposed to
you-
repeat that ad nauseum and then not think any further about it.
Oh, why can't they? You just say blank. Okay. I was like trying to work that. I was like, oh,
Oh, there needs to be like a comma there. I see. I see.
yeah.
No pronouns, only proper nouns. Absolute. That is 100% correct, VHS Crust. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? Or we're just kind of
No,
sitting here
I think-
listening to this jazz playlist.
I mean, I like jazz.
You like jazz?
I think I can wrap it up for the topic. I don't know if we want to talk about anime at all or anything.
Nah, we're
We
not
don't
an
watch
anime
any good
podcast.
Oh. Medalist was good.
Medalist was very good.
Surprisingly good. I was worried that it wasn't going to be that good because of the poster. Like the one that was on my anime list for a long time was like it looked like out of proportion. Where I was like, oh no, is this gonna have like the same problem as like Yuri on Ice, where it's gonna be like rotoscoped, and then like her head's gonna be like slightly too small or too big or something, and it's just gonna look weird proportion. But didn't have that problem. I
I went in with like no I literally did not know anything about it before going into it, and I was pleasantly surprised.
I mean, that was all I knew about it was the poster. That and people like the manga.
Best shows of the new season, Amaku, however the fuck, yeah, the Dr. House anime is pretty good.
That's my third favorite this season so far.
For me,
Did
it's
you
like
guys watch the
Medalist-
feed show yet?
The
Yeah,
what?
that's Amaku.
yeah, Dr. House, yeah.
No, the other feed show,
Oh, then no.
the neat one.
Oh no, we haven't seen that one yet.
No, not yet.
I hope that one was good.
Were we gonna watch the video at all? I think we said like earlier, we were like, I mean, there's not like much of a point. We could read the comments.
Yeah, I didn't want to like the point was more like about the general sentiment more so than Giguk's specific video.
The video itself is just, I missed the anime community when I wasn't in the anime community as much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's yeah.
basically.
Well, that's like obviously that's like speculation on our part, but yeah, that's what we kind of get out of it. He specifically just like, oh, I liked it when it was this, and we're like, and that's the point. That was the whole point of the stream was it was never like that. The speculation was that you thought it was that way for X amount of reasons. Oh, wait, what? I agree with Giguk so much here back, and it is weird when people are like, I agree with Garnt. It's like you don't. Why are
yeah.
you using their name? Oh, you can just not let me read that. Okay.
Oh, sorry. There you go. Read it.
I was trying to see what.
Scroll it so the comment is in the middle of the screen, so chat can
Oh,
read.
because it. God damn it.
Hey, you got chat at the top left.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just like. Oh, god damn it! No, gotta like move it. Hold on.
Back in 2000, anime fans were just that, fans of anime. We loved the medium and would recommend series to others rather than just be
Rather than just be in a silo for one or two. Do you not read?
you have Pat Liber 2 dub in the way.
Oh,
Also, back then, most crazies in the anime community frequented 4chan, stayed there, but now they are everywhere. I feel like these people weren't actually there.
yeah.
What do you mean? Back in the 2000s?
I feel like when they say
2010s?
2000s, yeah, it's like, okay, you say 2000s, but what do you mean? It's like 2016 when you just got into anime? From like Konosuba?
What are the replies out of curiosity?
Oh.
Those of us in the 90s were making the same complaints as you coming in ruining stuff.
Yeah.
I still recall the
that's
wars waged over whether
something
or not
I mentioned before stream, but not after, or not during the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say remember, I was not there for it. This was before my time, but remember when Pokemon aired on TV and people complained about like that shit destroying like anime in the West? Well, if you don't remember, I definitely have seen it on Internet
Yeah.
Archive a lot while doing research.
Yeah. I would have been
Very common.
It
I
seems
would've
a
been,
lot
like,
different
1 year old.
today. Culture war and purity spirals have become. It's like, how do you know you weren't there?
Yeah.
How do you know it's different? I mean, yeah, it's different in the sense of like everything is just, like just changes with time, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's like just people are fucking.
Man, 70s music was so good back when it was just about the music, man. You had like Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones and whatever the fuck else. Like it was about the music, man. Now it's just about the fucking sex appeal. What the fuck, bro? Literally
The
the same
cringiest
thing.
thing I learned this year was the term hoodweebs. It's just a group of miserable people that used to bully weebs back in a day, but now that it is popular, they want to push their taste on everyone else, which is like
What?
5 shonen series. That's it. Just say black people.
What?
We all know
Cut
what you
that,
mean
cut
by that. Just say black.
Cut that
What?
out. Cut that. Cut that.
Hoodweebs. Jesus Christ. That's
I don't
that
even-
makes it
what
sound even
the-
more
what are the-
racist.
What are we even describing with that?
I don't know.
They used to bully people. What? What?
If you're referring to that
Oh.
people in the hood did not watch anime, then it's just a sad and false claim. Nah, black people didn't like anime 5 years ago. And this is a
Fucking
fact.
people, dude. Salaryman Isekai is good.
Yeah?
That's my second favorite above House MD, the anime.
And so that's up there. I like Sorioro Utility, the tennis one. That one's pretty fun so far.
Tennis.
It's golf.
Golf, sorry.
That's a lot of a
Sorry.
different sport.
All rich people sports look the same to me. we're watching Blue Box earlier.
That's badminton.
It's the same thing.
No, badminton has shuttlecocks.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, they're called shuttlecocks.
I'd rather get bullied as an anime fan than having anime as me. You never got bullied for liking anime. Shut the fuck up.
I mean,
You got bullied for being annoying.
I'll bully you for being an anime fan. Go back to bullying. Locking kids' hands in lockers. Let's go.
Yeah, the only
Um,
anime people seem to accept is battle shonen or just popular stuff. Anything but that, you're then deemed a weirdo for watching slice of life or just cute girls doing cute things. That is kind of the thing, is like, anime is more acceptable now, but only certain kinds of anime.
Like it's always been, pretty much.
That's always been the thing.
Yeah, this fucking Ranma flop. They don't
it's
know
definitely not
real
always been a
anime
thing,
like
because,
Nausicaa.
like you tell someone, 15 years ago or whatever the hell, you're watching like Fairy Tale or some shit, and you're gonna give you like weird looks anyway, but now everyone's watching Fairy Tale basically.
Yeah, but if you told someone that watched Fairy Tale 15 years ago that you were watching fucking Icon or Love Hina or something, you'd still get weird looks, or Chobits.
Sure, but my point is, like, everyone now is like, that's what I mean though. Everyone now is like, okay,
The
with
Overton
watching.
window has shifted, but it
Yeah.
has remained the same.
What do you mean?
The things that were considered weird are still considered weird. It's just
Sure.
the things that
Well,
were
that's literally what I
already
said.
entry level have become less weird.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's literally yeah. I said, like, anime is more popular now, but it's only like certain kinds of anime.
Hayden was just saying that's still the case, that you will still get looked at for being weird for liking.
Well, sure, but then it's
or
it's
that's
not
always
like
been the case.
literally anyone though, is my point.
I mean, literally anyone will think you're weird if you like Non Biori.
No, but it's like, it used to be like,
people that like
literally any,
non-Biori.
like, the vast majority of people would think you're weird if you watched One Piece, but now it's the vast majority of people watch One Piece. Is my
If
point.
anything, I think it was probably worse back then, because like imagine if you were a guy watching like Cardcappers on TV, then it's like, okay, well that's basically the same thing as being a guy and listening to, I don't know, Shania Twain, Taylor, something girly, something F slur that I can't say on YouTube, but I would say otherwise.
I would say. Well, we're all talking about the 90s, all right? That was acceptable
Right.
back then.
Fuck it, I'll say it. Fat.
You should. Well, oh wait, sorry. I was gonna say you should have utilized the censor button, but then Sai has his soundboard disabled, so it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, like, I need to get a soundboard, honestly.
We just need to turn to a fucking like 90s radio show.
Yeah,
What do we
anime now
do?
is like, like much more mainstream than it was like 10, 15 years ago. But again, it's not anime as a whole that has benefited from that.
No, I mean not everything.
We should
just
gatekeep
gatekeep
anime. Garnt and other anime fans wanting it to get mainstream now are regretting it. How many anime have you seen?
Gatekeeping is good.
Why would you want normies in your hobby?
They simultaneously not take it seriously and also want to. My brother in Christ, you know whose comment section you are in?
Not Gigax.
Yeah. What the?
Can we also just acknowledge, like,
This is not Gigax comment section. I don't know whose comment section this is.
It's some.
It's a Giga clip.
Still, it's a Giga clip.
They're
Giga
saying
clip.
like they don't take it seriously and want everything changed. Okay, you say, we should gatekeep this to like avoid
Gatekeeping.
like new people coming in. Like, isn't that also like wanting everything to be changed, like to fit your standard of like what an anime fandom or what the industry should be?
Better yet, I hope they don't complain about isekai.
Imagine if Monogatari was released. It was just a new season. Yeah, then it's wait, what? guys, imagine if Naruto is coming out today. It's like, well, there's some Boruto.
Guys, if Naruto aired today, they would call it sexist.
I mean, they
I
kind of
watched
were
Fully
already.
Cooley and Redline once, type of take.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally the fucking Gantz image I posted. Guys, you don't understand. Anime used to be good.
Yeah,
Hold
it
on,
used to be
let me put-
good.
I was talking to Salaryman about Gantz a little while ago, and he said, like, yeah, it's crazy, like, Gantz even got on TV, like, back then. So even people who say, like, oh, this could not air today, well, you know,
It's like a lot of them, yeah.
Steven made a video on Angel Sig about how that could barely be made back in the day.
Yeah.
And it just so happened to actually exist. It is the exception and not the rule.
There you go. There's the Gantz image. This is the Gigik video.
Oh, it's loading. There we go. You understand? Nobody understands. Oh, what is the context of this? Like originally?
The context, everyone died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You see, real fans are like this.
He's kind of doing the Joe pose.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah, but
fucking-
yeah, there's no way you could make The Boys today. It's like, yeah, simultaneously you could not get away with making this thing because it's too horny and there's too much sex in it. Meanwhile, there's too much sex in movies and on TV.
Violence movies.
Moe Blob remake of Cowboy Bebop. Now, I'd watch that. It'd be better than the fucking live action one, certainly.
It'd be better than the original.
Damn,
They should make
what a
Cowboy
hot take.
Bebop babies. Follow up on the
Baby
success of,
Cowboy Bebop.
they gotta follow up on that success of Dragon Ball Daima.
Oh, that would be so. I so badly want to see that now.
Cowboy Bebop babies. You know what anime more people should be watching that if they haven't seen it? Momentary Lily. The goat hands.
Yeah.
Underappreciated anime this season.
Underappreciated is certainly a word.
That's certainly a choice. I don't know, like people. Maybe we can talk about this more in the 2024 podcast. But watching more anime this year made me more. I have seen a lot in previous years,
Yeah.
but it made me more acutely aware that there are probably a lot of anime that I missed that would have actually been like genuinely pretty good
Yeah. Yeah.
that just kind of got swept under the rug or written off because it wasn't conventionally, I don't know how to put it, conventionally good.
Mhm.
Like I'm thinking like a Geki doll,
Yeah. Yeah.
or like last year, like I don't know, Shimatsu Train maybe not so much, but Bokusuma definitely would. I probably would have never watched if we hadn't watched it. Was like watched everything that season and then gave it. Granted, like I was excited for that one. I think when we like went into it. So like I don't know. I might have picked it up. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to watch every anime from 1980 so you can make a better top 3 and not have Niels on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Very
You're not
true.
wrong.
You just need to watch every anime ever made.
Your friend
That's the goal.
my friend couldn't make it through the first episode of Momentary Lily. Your friend got
Weak.
filtered. Yeah, they
Weak.
literally got filtered. The fucking filters in the fucking show.
We
I love the rainbow lens flare that is just perpetually on screen.
It just like flips. Shot to shot, it's just like on the opposite side of the screen.
So it's basically pre-para.
I miss the mid 2000s when you saw a lot of VN adaptations. There was just a vibe that's been lost. Anime fans were more chill. The waifu wars were mostly memeing. Liking lollies was ironic. Idol worshipping wasn't as common. And no one got canceled over dumb drama. Does he know?
Yeah.
You were not around. What
they
the
know?
fuck?
I mean, they were around. They just were probably like,
Oh, how
oh, no,
sheltered.
they traded like 12 of their PlayStation 1 games at GameStop and got a Canon
Yeah.
DVD from for $20. I say that. I literally did that. It was Chobits and Animatrix.
Back in the day, we all just wanted to watch what Japan had to offer. Evangelion, Trigun, Cowboy Bebop. Those were the days.
This is the quality podcast content you come for.
I think it worked I think it worked though because he just wanted to watch anime accidentally, fell in love with it, and then pursued the hobby. And nowadays, you have friends recommending to friends, and sometimes the culture shock does not blow over well.
Hey guys, have you
guess.
heard of this cool show called Chobits? Don't worry about the premise in the first episode. Like, it's a really good show, guys. Trust me. And then they watch it, and then they give you the side eye, and they unfriend you on. No, they wouldn't unfriend
The new
you.
wave of
but that
anime
wasn't the
fans
thing.
is just it kind of just took over and terraformed the whole landscape of the anime community. What made you a fan previously, the whole culture that has been slowly built up from pure passion of Japanese pop culture and community input, has been completely wiped out. What left is essentially people that treat anime, the anime medium as a whole, with less passion and understanding. What, you mean like anime is trash? What made anime more special is kind of gone. That's literally the story that if you what? What?
I'm just imagining like all of these people, like it's like the first episode in Jujutsu Kaisen with Yuji's like grandpa like on his deathbed, like just Yuji's grandpa telling Yuji about like how anime used to be so much better, and then he fucking dies.
To me, anime, it's always been about Japanese weirdness. Oh no.
Oh,
Now that we are more mainstream, we have a lot of new faces that do not tolerate weirdness. Community not become more horny. Nothing has changed about the core fan base. We're merely shown a light on anime as become more mainstream, and at the same time, the core base expanded with the influx of new generational viewers / casuals who do not tolerate this weirdness. Well, that's not really like the core fan base. And that's what we talked about with like the last stream. Is like there hasn't been really much of a growth in like core anime fans compared to people who are just like really casual about it and just watch it because it's just more media to consume. There aren't really the growth in, you know, people like us, Mumi. I guess you. Hey, will you describe yourself as someone who's like anime is like the primary form of media you consume?
Considering that's what I make videos about, what I'm subtitling, and I talk to you guys all the time, I'd say yeah.
There isn't really like it seems like there hasn't really necessarily been as much of a growth in people like that, really. Whereas people, you know, anime is more so just like people watch a couple, you know.
Do you
and then
think that's
it.
always been the case, but it's such a like small portion of the community and all of those people know each other?
What? Wait.
So, like-
what part?
Like these quote unquote core fan people who are in the trenches like us, who
Sure.
are on that level.
Yeah.
That's always going to be a like not even 1%. And since that portion grows like so slowly, and it's probably like you find your group of people, and then you don't like new people don't really come into that group as often.
Mhm.
So the new people just find other new people, and then they say the same thing. and that probably just goes on for eternity.
Yeah.
I mean, this was something I like really tried pushing back against in some way, where it's like, because people that get into anime will spend a long time in like specific show circles and not branch out. Because there's so much like when you get into it, right? Like you get into a Naruto or Dragon Ball or Attack on Titan, like there is a lot of content to where you can be a quote unquote anime fan, but you are just consuming Attack on Titan content or Dragon Ball Z content, and you will be in like that content sphere you could be there for years. Like without ever like branching out essentially. And so like I would try to encourage people to like try new things, because I'd seen how long people will just like do nothing but consume Dragon Ball content or whatever, right? Like that's why fucking like Totally Not Mark and the power scaling community exists, because people just did nothing but consume Dragon Ball.
Most people don't want to go below the surface of the iceberg. That's how it is with any hobby. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the problem really lies in like the middle for basically everything. It's like taking like Safe Horny as an example. Those are the kinds of people who will crap on people who are just into like vanilla stuff as being boring. But if you're into anything that is actually like, you know, a little bit out there, then you know, you're treading the line. So it's putting yourself in this boring middle zone where that is like the acceptable kind of like position to be in, the stuff that will give you the least amount of stares while also kind of considering yourself as being hashtag based. So I guess like the anime equivalent of that would be like being into like Lane and like 2000s anime, like probably a lot of these people, honestly. I think that's where this whole thing stems from. Like not being enough of a normie that you just watch anime on Netflix and you talk to your friends on Instagram that you know in real life, but also not like to the point where you've been a fan for a decade, maybe longer, maybe a little bit shorter, but you've been in the community for enough time that you've kind of gone through, because a lot of people that middle stage is like a transitional point in their lives where they like stop giving a shit and they just like the thing and they keep up with their own friends. So these are the kinds of people who have it's oftentimes like people who are just growing up, like they're in their late teens, maybe early 20s, mid-teens maybe, just figuring out who they are as a person. So they want to try to present themselves as being the most sort of acceptably they want to be accepted in places, but they don't really exactly know the culture. So okay, well, liking Dragon Ball is cringe because you're a normie, but I also don't know what, you know, all of these unsubbed shows that people who would have been into this stuff for like over a decade would be into. They don't know like manga, Nippon, Bukashi, Banashi, shit like that. So, you know, I'm into Lane and Technolize and a bunch of other stuff that is, you know, a little bit more on the artsy side, a little bit more alternative, so that I can seem cool in front of my normie friends.
Of course.
That makes any sense.
One of the strengths of anime and manga is subtext lacking in Western media that spells it all out. You say that, and then you watch Skip and Loafer, and they spell it all out.
Being an anime fan is so much easier when you just watch whatever looks cool. It really is.
Yeah.
Drop the pretense. Just watch stuff that looks cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like Legend of Sirius. Is that what we watched yesterday?
Similar thing with like books, you know, and it's like I'm gonna start reading books. I'm gonna like, oh my god, like Dostoevsky, you know, blah blah blah, and shit like that. And it's like, or you could read Bionicle.
These comments mention Hetalia or Vampire Knight. There's a whole section of the anime fandom that was mocked under discussed by the main communities at the time. That was what I said. I was like, you say that this community is like a whole. Yeah. It was all unity. But how many shoujo did you watch or read?
Yeah.
Did you read D and Angel? That was pretty popular back
all
in the
people
day.
making like those like yaoi fics and stuff. Everyone making those like AMV fan like what were basically fan cams back in like the 2000s, 2010s. You know, I know people. You know, you call that shit cringe. You know, literally. And this doesn't really exist as much anymore. Remember the era of like weeb cringe compilations?
That was early 2010s. That was around. I think that was because the Brony cringe compilation kind of dried up.
Yeah,
I think that was more like mid 2010s. Yeah, like 2016. I
These
think
are the good old
2016 in
days.
general. Yeah, 2016 was just like the worst year for humanity in fucking history. Like, God, fucking
probably,
damn it.
yeah.
Yeah, this shit is really bad.
Yeah, and this is what we need to return to, guys. I sure do love being made fun of for my hobby. Disgusting weeb. The thumbnail is censored. It's like the same channels. Yeah, it's like, is this what you want? Is this what we want to go back to? Because, like, yeah, you go back like 10 years ago. You go back 15 years ago, and you're like, I own a Dakimakura, and, you know, you still would have been called fucking weird. One of this wholesome Chungus, everyone's singing around at the camp, you know, singing Kumbaya around the campfire type shit.
Look, you just don't get it. You weren't there, all right? The anime community was a whole, it was a monolith.
And you know what's even worse? I'm going to shit on people who are like, you know, stuff were better back in the day, you know, wholesome Chungus, all of that. Honestly, fuck that shit. Like, going back and reading old websites and everyone is actually talking like the way you see people being made fun of like 10 years ago in like 2016 or whatever, that shit is actually the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, even
can we all disagree with that?
Even fucking A talked like fucking anime, like not anime, internet speak back in
Just
like 2008.
Like, :3, the squiggly lines, and like woo.
Like,
well,
Twitter sucks. I don't idolize forum culture though.
No.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't miss forums. Sucked.
Yeah, I guess the moral of
cringe
the stream
compilations
is
were just softcore CSAM's material. Jesus Christ, probably, but what the fuck?
Yeah, I guess we started with Giguk saying, you know, things were better back in my day, and I guess the conclusion to this is things were worse back in my day.
Things have in fact never been good.
Yeah, things were
Twitter's
worse, and
dead lately.
We haven't progressed very much.
I wouldn't really know, honestly. All I see on Twitter is like anime art.
I forget to check Twitter for like.
That's all I want to see.
Do we have anything more to talk about? Do you want to watch one of these? End it off.
I'm sure.
Sydney, let's go.
We're right in front of your house.
My goat.
I can't hear this.
I just happened to be walking by. It'd be creepy to know where you live. Stupid.
So this is what Giguk wants to go back to. Making fun of his wife for being a weeb.
I had to give you something. Listen,
Oh, now I can hear myself.
Favorite, and I thought maybe you'd like some since I had extra. Be grateful. Aha! How did I know it was your favorite? Well,
This guy's so cool. Got the
Salt,
LGBT
salt and
necklace.
pepper shirt. I
Oh yeah, that was super common too. Just like cringe compilations. Oh my fucking god, this. Oh my god, I remember this girl.
Can you even like put Melon Pan in a cringe compilation when he's like just actively being cringe?
Yeah, Melon Pan feels
Yeah,
like
like he
cheating.
knows. What was I saying? Fuck. Oh yeah, like notice how a lot of these old cringe compilations like just have LGBT and trans people in them for being LGBT and trans.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get away with that now. Yeah, this video is a classic. I remember finding this video like before it blew up. That was wild.
Energizers don't have lips.
I mean, the funny
so
thing
put
about this
powder
one
on
is,
them,
like,
so it's not like
This is literally
it's not
just
always
e-girl culture.
worth
Yeah.
This is like what e-girls were originally before e-girls just or before what's her name?
Boxy?
No, not Boxy. I mean, yeah, this is like Boxy inspired, but like this is before who's fucking
I'll show you some
gamer
stuff
girl
later,
bathwater
where I
bitch.
feel like people have accidentally
Belle Delphine.
reinvented Boxy.
Yeah, Belle Delphine. This is
Oh,
before
yeah.
Belle Delphine became like a thing and like
Right.
just defined e-girl culture.
This is funny because this is still how a lot of e-girls like act. Like the way they type, it's the
Oh,
exact
yeah.
same shit. Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. It's just
And
how
people
cool-
thirst over them.
Fuck! What I was watching this Christmas movie with Jack Black where he plays Satan, but the kid sends. It's called Dear Santa, and the kid like sends his letter to like Santa, but he's dyslexic, so he can misspell Santa as Satan, and it goes to Jack Black. Anyway, in the movie, the main kid, character, the kid, is getting bullied by the cool kids in class, and one of them is just like a girl with like cat ears and stuff. And it's like, what the fuck?
Where
What
do
has
they get their
happened?
anime shirts now? Kenny, they sell Naruto shirts at Walmart now.
yeah, you don't even need Hot Topic.
You don't even need Hot Topic. That's such like a fucking weird thing to go into Walmart and see a Naruto and a Maruchan ramen shirt.
I got fucking Jujutsu Kaisen figures and shit now.
Oh my
It's-
god.
Yeah,
Freaking
imagine being
weird.
bullied. Yeah, it's now that's a weird change. Okay, Melon Pan skip.
Japanese. And don't like people are kind of not.
I wish I could hear it.
I've been going through.
Can you
is
like share your
deciding
screen on
whether or
Discord?
not I'm
Oh yeah. I forgot. I'm using like the OBS camera function, and that doesn't show audio, I guess.
Japanese.
Yeah, there we go.
And don't like people are gonna judge me for this. I'm aware of that. But like I feel it in my veins. I know who I am. and
This
I
is
think
goals
I'm
in 2025.
Japanese. Because like recently I've been like reading lots of manga and anime and like
Yeah, so
She's
many
doing
of
this
these
on
are just
purpose.
like making fun of children. And I get it. You know, children are fucking cringe. I don't think they should be
I feel
like
like
put on
she's doing
blast.
this on purpose though.
You think this is like a bit?
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
saying
they-
manga.
like
She's
I
in
also
min-
really like their food like
She's in
sushi
manga and
like
Anime or something?
all that
Like
kind
it's
of
like
stuff, so
you have
I'm
to
kinda
try to
thinking
like
that
get
I
that
am
wrong.
Yeah.
Japanese, like,
Yeah,
in my
like I've
heart.
seen a lot of videos now being like, irony destroyed music or something like that. Irony was so like I mean, that was like the thing of the 90s, I feel. And then that just like carried over into the 2000s. So a lot of the time, like they were just trolls. And the trolls that we think of, like Mario to Plumber,
Yeah.
people like that, like they were just more overt and obvious with their stuff. But there were so many trolls who were just like super irony poisoned. Like this guy, I'm sure, like is in on it. It's a lot of these people.
Because they just walk too slow. Shout out to all the slow people.
Yeah, no, this is 100% a bit.
Shout out to the slow people. Yeah, shout out to our entire audience.
Oh my god. When was this video made?
Like what, 2016? 8 years ago, I think. A lot of these are also just people being happy.
Happy? Fucking cringe.
Stop feeling joy! You shouldn't be happy?
You see that video I posted of the artist saying chibis or chai bai?
Oh yeah. Depending on the country you're from. Depending on what part of the country you're from, chibus or chai bai.
Try by reviews. Okay, just dance performance.
Okay.
This shit is so fucking like weak too. It's like, okay, a dance. It's like nothing. Okay, child.
And so they probably should not have a weapon, by the way.
Hey, I had a sword when I was like 10 years old.
Can you pull up the video of Mad Thad singing this song?
No, we will not be showing a pedophile on stream.
One Piece.
That's a good
One Piece.
One Piece.
Stares at the camera.
I love this genre
like
video of
genuinely
people
funny.
just like filming themselves with their phone, just like talking the lyrics. Love that shit. Ballad.
Seriously though, that's crazy. Whoa.
Really weeb cringe.
This is like Kubrick's
I need to pull out a Welcome to AHK book.
Yeah, but that's like one of the good ones.
Yeah, but it makes it weeb, I guess, because it's anime.
Well, you see,
Why do you guys hate
NHK criticizes anime fans.
Alright.
What is Melon Pan? Oh no, it is just
Oh,
that.
bad.
Speak of the devil.
Happy birthday to
We gotta
I
watch
don't
this.
like.
This is a classic.
to you. Happy birthday,
The guy is such a fucking Chad.
Happy birthday
Minus the pedophilia.
Minus the pet, you know, yeah.
Yeah, ignore that. You see, this
he's
is
out of-
before
yeah, he's out of
people
jail
got
now.
canceled.
Been out of jail
Yeah.
for like a year or two now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's on YouTube.
They probably thought I was just moving out of the way, but I was actually setting up to where their blind spot was. If he had gone on me, I was trying to go in.
Scottsdale rapes, missing kids, suspected. Teachers, perfect storm.
Completely drop the sword down and then completely cut it, completely gave him open. The sad truth is that they weren't even a challenge. I already had a full 5-stage plan ready to take everyone out. And anybody else who got involved, just in case. That's just the way I do things. This is about what you saw on the train. It's folded, tempered, and it does its job. My
This
family
guy died of Bodhi accent. Yeah, I remember
a
that.
surprisingly strange affinity for sharp objects, particularly kitchen knives when I was a kid. You know, you really shouldn't mess with anime nerds.
What?
Falcon kick! Falcon punch! Ice Beam hammer! Chidori!
Oh, they could do so much better. It's like they just like drag him to a curve, put his fucking mouth on it.
Fire Dragon!
This is the kind of shit where like these original videos would have been uploaded to YouTube to like 10 views.
Yeah.
But then somebody on Reddit finds it, the subreddit that I used to frequent very often called Deep Into YouTube. Somebody like that like finds these videos, and then basically back in the day like Leafy or Pyrocynical, No Fuckers,
Oh yeah.
whoever else like would make videos about those videos.
Yep. We need to go back to that era, don't you know?
People are nostalgic for that.
Some goddamn
they'll-
reason. I'm not.
Yeah, this is when we were all one community. Everybody, no one made fun of everyone. They're all one monolith.
Yeah.
One love, you know?
We need to go back.
Something Awful did the same thing, but it was contained to itself. And that's the thing. Something Awful did not have like the kind of reach that like, you know, like a Leafy is Here did back in like 2015, 2016.
Yeah, Leafy pulled
Weeaboos
like
exist. Hygiene.
several-
Am I a joke to you?
Got him.
like I think sometimes we forget like how popular Leafy actually was. Like every single video
yeah.
he would put out, just multiple millions and millions of views.
Yeah, isn't it?
You would
isn't that
upload
just
daily.
punching down? Yeah, it is. That's the thing. It's like I don't really
Yeah.
think most of this is like cringe. Some of it is like not even anime related.
What's funny about Leafy too is I remember like there was like a screenshot of his Sony Vegas because he edited on Sony Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Like his rendering thing, and his project file is just him like smashing the keyboard because he got to the point where like he just made so many fucking videos that like none of it mattered and it was all clickbait that he just like smashed his keyboard when rendering a video, just like put it up on YouTube, like throw together some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Basically worse Moist Critical, if you can even believe that. You don't miss this era. He's not like offensive, but it's definitely slop.
Yeah.
It's slop. I mean, it's not Leafy though.
It's true. They are better at like not just making fun of like a guy with autism and getting him doxxed and harassed.
Charlie seems like a genuinely like cool guy.
Yeah.
Not just some
Mutahar drama
asshole.
was funny though to see that shit unfold.
Yeah, I didn't mean to compare them like personality wise, but you know,
It serves like a similar like function.
Charlie talks about people and things happening. Leafy talks about things and people and things happening. Except one's obviously way worse because one of them doesn't say words that I cannot say on YouTube anymore. Otherwise, I totally would.
He's trying to beat the pink guy.
Leafy used to put out doxing bounties when he was in the Minecraft community. What the Sigma?
Is that Mutahar? It does look like him in the thumbnail. I don't know.
Hey,
Yeah,
guys.
some of this is still like, yeah, this is like
Is this
something
the
I would
best
see on
anime of the
Leafy's
year?
channel.
Is this the best anime of the year? That is just a title and like YouTube thumbnail
Such
from
a low effort
2008.
thumbnail. And it's just
Not fair.
It's just squashed Don to Don poster.
It's not even fully stretched.
No.
That's like what YouTube
It's, like,
thumbnails would
slightly
look like in 2008 when you were covering like a 4x3 show. So this is like your review of the original canon from like 2002.
Well, this is like article screenshot article. Yeah, it's just so honey lawsuit. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Better, but still basically the same. More morally better, creatively not so much.
The enemy that saved Japan. Dark Souls 3 is the
Low
best
cost,
Dark
high
Souls
payoff,
game.
the platonic ideal of you. Well, that's the thing. This is what makes YouTube the most money.
And it is what people want to watch. That's why this shit has so many views.
Yeah.
See people complain about slop, like the Weeb Crew, and then they keep watching slop, like the Weeb Crew.
I mean, I'm alright with like Moist Critical, honestly.
Depends on, like, I don't fucking watch this stuff because I don't fucking care.
I put it on occasionally. I don't know the last time I actually watched a video.
This is what every channel should be. Could you imagine? God, what a fucking like dystopian future that would be.
Isn't that just YouTube back in like 2008?
No. This kind of stuff didn't really exist in 2008, at least not on the scale. Oh, like, you go back to like 2008, what was popular was like animation.
I guess this would have been presented in like vlogs or rants.
Yeah. They're still kind of what they are, but like there's like the camera is like locked down. Whereas like it would be on like a shitty digital camera, handheld. Someone is talking in the room, and it's like dark in their room, or they have like their like overhead light on, and they're blown out the shit.
Yeah.
People who are
Do we have
really
more to
picky
talk
about
about?
YouTube content aren't really that loyal in terms of viewership. You start doing stuff they don't like, and it's like, okay, bye. Yeah. Oh. Well, dog unplugged my Wi-Fi. Honey sponsorship rant. Well, do we have anything else we want to talk about? This is kind of like just gone on long.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think we've said that like 2 or 3 times throughout throughout the stream.
Let me just message Moomy real quick.
In 2008 channels was mostly one video with 10k views and 10 others with 5. Sometimes. You have like the one AMD slideshow that popped off, and then you have like 30 others, and then like maybe you have like a video of you like playing with your dog.
That's kind of what
I was like the anime fan in 2008.
That's kind of what fucking Demo's channel is.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, I think his most viewed video on his channel is dog video.
Yeah, it's the Mountain Dew. Then it's the Kanye what's that show again? Monkey Brilliant Park.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if we sort by oldest. This is what YouTube used to be like. This isn't even like 2008. This is in like the early 2010s. Anyway. That about does it for the night. Thanks everyone for sticking around. listen to us just yap for 2.5 hours over nothing.
Yeah, honestly, congratulations for making it through this shit.
Oh God, what a terrible stream. We said we're gonna make this a podcast. Fuck that shit. Anyway, good night, everyone.
Good night.